Welcome to the UglyMugsPodcast. I'm your host, Quincy.
And your other host, Justin.
So Justin decided to change it up a little bit today with his tea thing, so we're going to start with you.
I have a can that I've poured into a mug of Canada Dry green tea ginger ale, and it's overly sweet, but I mean it's Canada Dry, so it's supposed to be. It's really good. I like it. And then on the back burner, I have a raspberry zinger from the Celestial Seasonings,
which he doesn't really want to give a review on because he's kind of biased on that one because he doesn't like raspberry.
I hate raspberry. I like blue raspberry because it's not a real flavor.
So I went to Sprouts and got the Velvet Moon Espresso. Now I ended up doing a French press with this though, rather than doing the espresso, and it's pretty good. It's not overly strong. It does have more of a taste than just the beans to it, and I'm pretty happy with it. I did my cream and sugar as usual, but I did try it black. This isn't one I would drink black. I'd have to add to it. But from there, we're going to move on into some, kind of want to break down some of the topics today, because we're going to talk about PaxEAST. Or no, PaxWest. PaxEAST. I'm bad with this, because PAX has too many things.
PAX does do too many things.
It started today.
It just started about 4.5 hours ago.
So, we've seen Gearbox's whole run, and you've seen... Oh, I've seen Gearbox's whole run, and you've seen some indie stuff.
I've seen some indie stuff, and I saw just the Borderlands 3 trailer.
Okay. But we still got 3 more days of PAX East, plus the rest of today.
And over the course of time, they aren't just doing video games, they're also doing Pathfinder, Dungeons & Dragons, they're doing mental health awareness. They're doing a lot of really... medium to large size projects to try and promote well-being as well as other things. They're also doing Magic the Gathering. They're doing Pokemon trading card game. They are doing not just video game.
Yeah, and that actually kind of bleeds into what Gearbox brought, because they brought in a bunch of games, but they also brought in a board game.
Now, is it Borderlands board game?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
You basically are competing against your friends to build a claptrap first. And so, like, there's different parts. So there's, like, the sheriff wheel. There's the sheriff hat. There's the body. Like, and so it's like you got to try to build the claptrap first, but it's like a card game.
Okay.
It looked really interesting. They broke it open on stage. They did this whole fun thing where they did a magic trick and everything. It was fun. I have to say the Gearbox panel was actually a lot of fun.
And even with their blunders, I did not see their major blunders. But you said they handled it well?
Yeah, so they were having issues with one of the trailers going, and they actually brought the actress that plays the angel, or the angelic one, or whatever it is that you want to call her, for the trailer, out on stage, and kind of had her stand up there and talk a little bit and whatnot, because they could not get the trailer to work. I think it was first the trailer for the new re-rendered Borderlands, and then it was the trailer for Borderlands 3. But they did get the trailers both to work, and people did get to see them. The audience was like, "Well, wait," and he's like, "They said they'll wait, so we'll wait, and we'll get it to work." I think what they had to do was not play it on the big screen, but play it on their side screens. They were talking the side screens are 4K, but the big screen isn't, and everything they bought is set for 4K. So that may have been the issue.
Wow.
And then he kind of made a comment of, we should have brought our own gear.
Yeah.
But
it's okay. I mean... They could have quickly re-rendered it into 1080 and tried to push it, but that would have been pushing more time, so they just said, screw it, go.
Yeah, so they got it up. It was a decent trailer. I enjoyed it. I even enjoyed the trailer looking back at Borderlands.
Yeah.
They brought in a different song for it, which was weird, because you just spent so many years hearing Cage the Elephant. Ain't no rest for the wicked with Borderlands.
And, I mean, to be fair, and even the teaser had a really good song, and I was like, it was all... marble-esque. It was all this white, translucent looking, and it looked really nice. And then you finally see the major trailer featuring these 4 heroes that you don't quite get a feel for their skills yet. I'm hoping that we get a better in-depth before Borderlands 3, but I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I'm excited too. And they said over 1 billion guns.
They keep saying that.
They showed just like this raining of guns falling from the sky.
That's fine and fair, but I don't know. When playing Borderlands 1, I can tell you every spectrum of the weapons. It's just the variants of. I'm hoping we get individual weapons and we get a gun that walks.
Yeah, we do.
We get a gun that freaking walks.
I thought that was kind of cool, but also really weird, because what if it turns on you? I'm saying in real world, not in game.
Yeah.
Like, walking gun suddenly decides it doesn't like its owner. Oh shit.
You did evil.
I think where the different guns is really going to come into play is they're doing those codes now.
Yeah.
And that's something that's even coming to the remastered version of Borderlands. If you buy the Claptrap game, it comes with a code in it for the game.
Really?
Yes.
That's freaking cool.
So there's even more stuff. And I think the Claptrap game is about $20, they said. So $20 for a board game, not bad.
A $60 game after.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
So I watched the trailer. I'm happy, but as you said, they didn't explain anything about the heroes. They didn't explain anything about the villains. However, they showed some new areas that look really cool. They showed like a metropolis. It was from a distance, but they showed like a full city.
I think that is Opportunity.
And they showed,
I think that's Opportunity fully built.
They showed kind of like a swampland type of area, which reminded me of the DLC from Borderlands 1 where you deal with the zombies.
Dr. Zed.
But it's not the same area. It's just that's what it reminded me of.
It looked of. It reminds me of the Borderlands 2 DLC.
I didn't play the DLCs for Borderlands 2.
I liked them all.
The DLCs for Borderlands 1 kind of bummed me out.
I'm surprised that you didn't play the Dungeons and Dragons one.
I didn't know there was a Dungeons and Dragons one.
Oh, and Tiny Tina's the DM.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. Tiny Tina wrote on the cards in the Claptrap game.
Oh.
So there's little Tiny Tina writings on some of the cards.
Okay.
So that's another thing that
we gotta get it. We gotta get it.
It looks like a fun game.
We gotta get it. A little bit of a detour. A little bit of a detour to kind of talk about the idea of doing board games. I had launched a Patreon for us. To see, if any of our listeners want to help give us a boost into production. We want to do more. We have an idea that we want to do multiple board games, and then at a higher number of patrons. I had mentioned just last week that I want to do a D&D campaign.
Yeah, we're open to the idea of obviously continuing to do the current podcast, the Ugly Mugs podcast, but we want to do things under Ugly Mugs Productions, and essentially, and do actual play games, do maybe review channels. I don't know. I mean, and there's plenty of things we can do, interviews, things like that.
Yeah, and then of course there's my subsidiary, which is my crummy little gaming side, the Long Shot Heroes, that is kind of like Handshake, considering it's owned by the same person technically. But even Esquire. But even still, if you want to check it out, it'll be in the description. If you want to, we don't have very much as far as incentives other than we're going to try and put more content out.
Yeah. Once we have something to give you for the Patreon, we'll be more than happy to just start throwing stuff at you guys like crazy.
Oh, yes.
For now, we don't have anything on there. And we understand if you don't want to donate, because that's what it essentially would be, is donating. But eventually it will be, we have something we're going to be selling you through Patreon. Everything's a work in progress right now.
Yeah, and it's more along the lines of a help us to then help you later on with content that you'll enjoy and otherwise. Yeah. If you don't have any money but you want to support us, share us. Get us out there.
Rate, subscribe, tell us. Tell people about us. I mean,
and even give us ideas. We enjoy this because on the Patreon I've mentioned the D&D campaign. I've mentioned that we want to do unboxings. I've mentioned that I want to do a cookbook segment, which will also tie into the YouTube channel. Like I've got ideas out the yin yang, but having more never hurts.
Yeah, and currently we are both working full time. So while right now we find the time to do this, when we start doing more projects, having the Patreon would help us to be able to take a step back from work a little bit to be able to put more time into the content.
Correct.
We obviously will do as much content as we can now, and we'll hopefully be able to increase it soon. But as of right now, we're kind of where we can be for now.
Correct.
It's bugging me. You said Esquire, and it's got me thinking. I always thought that would be a really cool name until I found out it's just a lawyer.
It's just a lawyer.
Yeah. No offense to lawyers, but I was just like, Esquire, that sounds cool. Oh, wait, I'm a lawyer? Never mind. I don't want that name. But back to the PAX thing now.
Right.
The one other thing I wanted to mention is, like I said, PAX still has 3 more days. We've also got WonderCon starting on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So we can't talk on things that haven't happened yet, obviously. But expect us to have plenty of stuff to talk about next Thursday.
Yeah.
WonderCon alone is bringing in a lot. They've even got a panel for what's it called? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming in. So, did you want to talk about this next, or did you want to finish some more PAX stuff?
Technically, this falls into
this was on PAX. Okay,
kind of. It did a little bit of a nudge during PAX. I'm a big fan of Wolfenstein. I'm always down.
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein. I am always a big fan of just going out there and just wrecking things. Wolfenstein.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm just a big fan of killing Nazis.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I don't even care. Fuck Nazis.
Yeah, you're right. So Wolfenstein Youngblood has a release date. And in July, it looks fantastic.
Now I remember they did a
Carpenter Brute. Carpenter Brute is one of my favorite musical entendres, and having them play that just just it was so heavy, it was so great.
They did a trailer for this on E3 last year, and I was hyped. So the fact that they're getting PAX content too, I'm very excited. I'm very happy to see this coming.
And with the deluxe edition of this game, you get a buddy pass, which means you can give it to a friend who can then play with you. Instead of paying $120, you're paying about $90, which is half off the second copy. So in short, you and a friend can play for $90, and I would consider that fair for first of its kind, a co-op Wolfenstein game that features BJ's daughters, the Terror Twins. I'm like, this is a great story. I love Wolfenstein just because of how asinine it gets. Like, it gets pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if this one will actually include Mecha Hitler, maybe?
From, what was that? Was that 1 or 2?
It was Wolfenstein 3D.
Oh, it was 3D. That's right. Okay.
It was 3D.
Now, the other thing I was thinking about is when we talked about the fact that it's $90 for this edition of the game. It comes with the buddy pass and more, right? There's more to it.
It comes with a skin and a gun and some other small time stuff.
Even if you stop and look at it, I just bought 2 copies of this game for $90. It's a $60 game. It should be $120.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're already saving $30 there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
And then I don't know if this had talks during.
No, this was actually announced before PAX.
It was, but I don't know if it got pushed into it. But I've played a little bit of it.
Okay, so I've only heard mostly bad about this. So it's Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I've heard bad, and then more bad, and then I heard the community fixed it for the most part and made it more doable. And now, because the community was so behind in Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines, they're doing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Now, I don't know who's doing it. I don't know really anything else about it. I'm going to turn it over to you for you to at least explain the Masquerade Bloodlines to me.
Okay. So, you know the small time things of, having the idea of a vampire in current times with the technology that we have, small time blood magic. Put that into a perspective of you're eating maggots, Michael. It's you get that mentality of vampires in current age. What are they going to be like?
Yeah.
And then you have like a Nosferatu who is not even supposed to exist. And then you see him, and people will either be very angry or fearful. And then you add in a little bit more. I'm just curious on how this one's going to play separate to the original. Considering the original, you could go wherever you want, do whatever you want, do small time quests. This one seems like it's a little bit more open-handed. I'm very curious on what they're gonna introduce at E3, considering this just got announced with a small time trailer. It didn't get too much. It says it's gonna get teased for GDC, which is, I believe, end of May. Don't quote me on that. Actually, wait, we have the ability to do this.
So now, I eventually want to go back and play the first one now that the community's touched it up and whatnot. So a sequel just kind of lights the fire under my ass.
Oh no, GDC already passed. Then I guess
GDC already passed. So I think that's where this was originally announced.
Yeah,
was
so
GDC.
Yeah, so it's going to be E3. We get the full thing then.
Hopefully.
I
mean, E3 is coming up in June, so
yeah.
Which is another thing. Ubisoft actually announced what day they're going to do their big event at E3.
Oh,
which is June 10th.
Okay, cool.
Now I'm all excited for this, except for the fact that last E3, their big event was having people in costumes come dancing in for Just Dance. And I'm like, okay, if you guys are going to go all out for a new, for like another big thing, please don't make it people dancing in Just Dance. Like I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Just Dance is a good game. I'm not gonna.
No, I've got one of them. Kicks my ass, honestly.
Yeah. So I mean, but to try and get your audience, an audience that probably doesn't play it because I don't know how well it sells, but
it sells well enough that they keep making them.
Okay, fair enough. So it allows for them to do that. I would just say do a quick announcement. Have if you want to, have a music spot. Don't have a dance spot. Have a music spot.
Or if you are going to have a dance spot, pick whoever the hot new dance thing is. Have them come in and do a quick little performance. Not a thing where you're watching a camera follow an entire fucking Congo line into the building and then up to the stage and then have everybody dancing and then they leave and then you'd be like, oh yeah, it's Just Dance.
Okay. I'm sorry. I pulled up a game that Quincey was talking about that I knew nothing about.
Okay. So this goes back to the Gearbox thing. Like I said, I watched the entire Gearbox PAX coverage.
Okay.
So they touched on Borderlands 3. They touched on they even touched on pre-sequel and stuff like that. They touched on the remaster. It was very Borderlands heavy.
With Borderlands 3, they're bringing everybody back.
Yeah.
Except for those who actually, quote-unquote, died.
Did you watch the full trailer for 3?
I did.
Did you see the sax solo?
I did.
That was great.
With Rick with this mustache.
Yeah, well, people change their hair.
Well, he was completely hairless, though.
True. So when they debuted the board game, actually, when they're done, he goes, "So here you go, guys. That's a Borderlands game for you." And everyone's like, "Woo!" And he's like, "Is that the Borderlands game you guys want?" It's like, and they're all like, "Woo!" He's like, "Okay, good, guys. That's all you're getting." And they're all like, "Woo!" And he goes, all right, here's Borderlands 3. And then they go into it. But they did talk about some other stuff.
They're like Devolver, where they can take the hint of, is this what you want? Okay, this is what you want. Okay, cool. We're going to release this too, but we're not going to give you that yet. And then when they finally give them that, they're like, here you go, you get this too.
Yeah.
Also, here's a gun.
But they got together with... what is it? Something about rain. I'm spacing on the name now. It Could Rain or something like that. It's a sequel. It's driving me nuts. You look it up, and I'll keep talking. Risk of Rain 2. That's what it was.
Okay. I liked Risk of Rain 1. I didn't even know.
Looks really good.
I had no clue this was a thing.
Yeah, they dropped a trailer, and I do believe it even came out.
Yeah, I know.
So... I think this was the one that launched today with the game, with the presentation. I mean, because there was one that they announced, and they're like, "Oh, and by the way, it's available right now."
Oh, wait, Risk of Rain 2 is available right now.
I think it's this one.
What?
I could be wrong.
Okay. So I've played a lot of Risk of Rain 1 with Goon and all them. It's a hard as nails game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, pardon me. Ginger ale gets a little bubbly. And it's a 2D platformy co-op adventure where you're just trying to survive and get to a thing. Is it in 3D?
Yeah.
This is awesome!
Yeah, so it's in 3D. This is actually the trailer they showed. And it's got fighting, it's got looting, it's got friends, it's got you dying it's got all coming back.
Oh my god, okay, and it has the same exact, so the same mechanics that it was in, oh my god, the ragdolls. The same mechanics that was in Risk of Rain 1, which is just a 2D simple jump, dodge, shoot your gun, use your special abilities, that sort of thing. Now I didn't even know.
Yeah, and one of the developers, I think, said they've been working on it for about 3 years.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And I do believe, like I said, it dropped today.
Returns to Steam Early Access
today.
Yeah. It just hit Steam Early Access right now.
Another thing that they talked about was they hit up a deal with Squanch Games.
Oh, it's only $20.
Yes, Risk of Rain is only $20.
And it's buy one get one free. What?
For
one more day? 2 more days?
2 more days. 2 more days.
Okay, until the 30th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But that is so cool. I'm sorry, I can't help but feel this is actually really nice. $10 for 2 copies of a game that's been in production for 3 years that kind of snuck up and smacked me on the ass. Yes, please. I'm sorry. Continue what you were saying.
No, you're good. So they Gearbox also ended up doing a deal with Squanch Games, and if anyone's saying like on Squanch, why do I know that word? Think Squanchy from Rick and Morty. They signed a deal with Squanch Games, which is the Rick and Morty guy, and they made this absurd-looking game that is coming out on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation VR.
It gave me a chill down my spine when I saw it.
And the main voice actor for it is also the guy that created Rick and Morty, which means a lot of the characters sound like Rick and Morty characters, including the main character sounding just like Morty and being yelled at by a character that looks a lot like Rick.
So I'm thinking it's going to be like a multiverse type of thing where it's this universe is Rick and Morty, but I don't know.
It comes out in May.
He's very strange.
And his company's been around since August of 2016, though.
Oh.
I don't know of anything they've ever done.
Here's the two things. We got Trover Saves the Universe, which is
that's
the new one.
Yeah.
And then you have Accounting, which was their first game in 2016, which
it looks weird.
I'm going to click into it while we...
It's also a VR thing.
It's a VR thing.
So he seems to really like the concept of VR.
Oh my god. And they did a Rick and Morty VR game that was pretty close to show.
Yeah. I don't think that was done by Squanch Games, though.
Oh, no. Of course not. But even still, it was a Rick and Morty game, so it still supported him.
Yeah, he voice acted for it. I think it was probably an Adult Swim thing.
This reminds me of Work Simulator. Like,
a little bit.
It gives me that feel, but at the same time, it's still making me uncomfortable with your hands being mouse cursors. I don't like it. I don't like that. I'd rather it be the finger-pointing mouse cursor, not the weird...
I'd rather just not see my hands.
I don't like it.
They both came up at the same time. Like they were like triggered by what he was saying.
I don't like it.
So yeah, they released a game. It's Trover Saves the Universe. It looks odd.
I mean, most games nowadays seem to be doing the odd feature.
Yeah, it's very Rick and Morty odd though. So it's it's expected. Oh jeez, Rick.
Oh.
But I think that was about it from Gearbox that really stood out. Hell, that may have been all of it, other than this one. So Pathologic 2, I didn't play Pathologic 1. I didn't know anything about it, and then Gearbox did this trailer and I was like, what the fuck is this?
I have Pathologic 1 on my Steam. I just never touched it because I own 1,200 games on my Steam. Don't judge me.
So he pulled up some screenshots from Pathologic 2 here and lost it because it's a map that says the flank, you're unwelcome here.
I'm like, okay, at least it tells you where you're not supposed to be. It looks like a first person story driven thing, trading durability, cults, and then you get to drain blood from people who have died, and
it's very weird.
It is very strange.
What these images aren't showing you is, I watched the trailer, and I have to say, these images kind of look a little bit better than the game did.
Yeah, I mean the 2017 trailer.
Yeah, it's the one you started watching.
I mean, it did raise up some things because there were a bunch of guys in masks, and behind them there was a flamethrower dude torching a family, and I'm like, that's kind of dark for a trailer, but okay. And then you got the it looks kind of like We Happy Few.
Yes, which that was another thing Gearbox touched on. It's getting a DLC that's about to launch very soon.
Okay.
We Happy Few is. It's covered by the season pass.
Now, real talk, I enjoy We Happy Few. I just don't think I would personally get into it.
I haven't played it yet. It's available on Game Pass. I'll probably eventually.
Having the idea of a dystopian future of Britain covering themselves in a shroud of drugs to make them happy is not necessarily a happy thing, because I don't mean it like that. I mean it as in, it's an interesting concept to
it kind of tackles the real life problem a little bit.
Call it joy, and this is what you need to be happy.
Yeah.
These screenshots are really
the game looked really interesting. The problem that I had with We Happy Few was I felt like it was a BioShock clone.
Yeah, I can see that.
Then you showed me another game today that I really see. No, that's a BioShock clone. What was that called?
Oh shit! Oh no! Close to the Sun.
Yeah, Close to the Sun. And I was like, that is a BioShock clone. But it looks good.
And made by only 15 people.
Yeah.
So
which is why I'm saying you need to learn how to make video games.
I mean,
because you're one person. I mean, we got 14 more to get.
Yeah, and we can try and put something that well put together. It does look primarily like BioShock.
Yeah, like I thought We Happy Few was a BioShock clone. No. This
this,
is a BioShock clone.
and then right behind that you have freaking System Shock 3 that's coming right behind it.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to see all of this come together probably by E3. E3 is going to be either one hell of a trip or one hell of a disappointment.
Well, you got Sony who's not doing it.
Sony, Nintendo has their own personal, EA who's out.
I think that's it. It's dropped out officially.
I want to say there might be one more that pulled, but I'm not sure. Devolver. Ooh, is it okay?
Yep.
Okay. He just dropped his phone. I want to say Devolver has their own as well, considering they just like pre-record their stuff. And I'm okay with Devolver doing that because Devolver is very humorous when they do their thing.
Like when Nintendo does the pre-record and then lets it launch at E3, I think is a smart thing.
Oh yeah, because then it's like everyone's already paying attention.
When you have Sony that straight up it's just not gonna show up, I'm like, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah, we got a God of War to announce. Oh well, we're not gonna be at E3 to announce it. Then where are you gonna announce it?
Yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of good's still going to come through from E3 because, like I said, we have Ubisoft who will hopefully talk something Tom Clancy. We'll most likely talk something Assassin's Creed. We'll probably talk Just Dance because that's a yearly game. I mean, I'm really hoping Tom Clancy.
I'm hoping new IP. I mean, Tom Clancy and new IP are my two go-tos.
Yeah, a new IP would be good.
I mean, I would like to see...
I would also like to see Watch Dogs 3.
I mean, yeah. Well, where would you want it? Chicago?
No, the first one was in Chicago.
I know. Do you want it back in Chicago?
No, I feel like we kind of took care of Chicago, and you took care of San Francisco. New York, I feel like is too big, but that would be a really cool setting, like New York City.
Yeah, New York City would be a bit weird in a dystopian future where everything's run off of technology. Considering our,
that's not dystopian.
Well, it's dystopian in the sense that you can steal money just by looking at someone.
Very true. Which I mean, you can do that now if you're ugly enough.
Why are you like this?
I don't know. Oh God. I mean, the San Francisco one was great purely because of how freaking beautiful it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then the Chicago was great because they made it like gloomy. You know what? Seattle.
You know what?
That's where I want it.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Watch Dogs 3 Seattle.
We're giving you ideas. We're giving you ideas. We don't have to do this.
All we request is a free copy of the game. Hell, we'll even share it. You can only just send one. We'll be happy.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
We'll pass it back for you. Know what? Make it digital. Your home networked in. You'll be good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
So what's this?
I just wanted to bring it up and just make a quick mention of it. It was released in 2017, but it didn't get a lot of publicity.
Okay.
It is called Echo. On Steam, $25. It's a stealth horror-esque that is.
I feel like you missed an opportunity when you said Echo once.
Why are you like this today? Why are you like this tonight? It is very
not enough caffeine.
Yeah, not enough. So keep chugging.
My second cup of coffee.
It is a very beautiful game. It utilizes the Unreal Engine to its best degree.
I think the Unreal Engine is one of the most amazing engines we have, and the fact that I'm seeing it used less is kind of upsetting me.
Unreal, and I would say Frostbite 2. Frostbite 2 is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The RE engine's great.
RE, and maybe even Fox Engine.
Fox Engine's pretty good. And then which one's the one they use for Doom?
idTech.
idTech's good.
idTech's good.
But I feel like Unreal's starting to drop a little bit. I mean, it did the original 2 Arkham games,
and I feel like it might have a little bit to do with the bugs. There might be something that's still causing issues, and that's probably why they're not wanting to deal with it.
Maybe.
But Echo's a stealth 'em up, and you have very minimal things. Sounds are a problem. It's kind of like Splinter Cell, where anything you do that gets you noticed, it'll remember where the last place you were and do that sort of thing.
Splinter Cell or Alien Isolation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Where you throw one of those things and it goes over to it and starts hissing at you, and it'll still find you.
Well, because... even in Alien Isolation, you still have to deal with people too, not just the alien.
That's right. You also have to deal with those android peoples.
Or just general assholes too.
Or general assholes. But still, I just wanted to get Echo out there as of I enjoy this game. Please look into it if you are a fan of stealth running style games where sometimes fighting is not an option, but it is there. As soon as the lights go out, it becomes a real tense fight to just stay alive. And just
yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
Developers Ultra, so they echoed.
Yeah, they echoed. But the game itself is just beautiful. A Victorian style buildings and just overall architecture is just great. And then you have the contrast of your character looking so physically futuristic, and then
she's almost porcelain looking.
She is almost like the whole entire world looks porcelain, looks easily breakable, and I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, no, it's kind of pretty looking. So a few other things. Game Pass just dropped 2 new games, and I just figured I'd throw it out there for anyone that hasn't checked their Game Pass. One of them is the Michonne Telltale levels, which is cool because I think that's the only thing I didn't own from the Walking Dead Telltale. Other than the new game.
Okay, I was about to say, did you have part 3?
No.
Speaking of which, part 3 is actually finished up, and
yeah, thanks to Skybound.
Yeah, and it apparently did really well. So kudos. I don't know too much about it. I just know that it finished and it ended on a good note.
Skybound's also working on another Walking Dead game. I don't think it's gonna be Telltale fashion though. So.
And speaking of Walking Dead games, I honestly don't know what Overkill is doing. I have no clue.
At this point, until I actually see it purchasable for console, I'm ignoring it. I have to see like a clickable buy now.
I'm right behind you, I guess. It's just I don't know what they're doing though. It's like first it's in it's going to be delayed, then canceled, then delayed. Oh wait a minute, it's still coming out. Just give us a minute. And then I just checked last Thursday after we were done. I checked again and it said it was canceled again. I don't know what it's doing. I'm just going to let it go until I see that buy, I guess.
Yeah, until it's actually a clickable buy now thing. I don't. And the funny thing is, it's not even a game I'm that interested in buying.
I'm
more because of the drama behind it now.
You're right.
It's kind of ruined it for me.
And as for me, I'm a sucker for zombie fighters.
At this point, I wish Skybound could just buy it and release it.
They'll fix it.
Robert Kirkman, go and get it.
Oh, Kirkman, I love you.
He's doing good with Skybound.
He's doing God's work.
What's this?
Okay.
We watched the trailer and I'm like, but talk about it.
It's an early access gameplay of Dead House Sonata.
They're saying pre-alpha,
which Quincey did alleviate some of the stress I had because it didn't look too fantastic. It showcased a vampire doing vampire things, bloodmancy, that sort of thing, and I'm like, okay, this looks, it looks like, And then when it said a very specific line, it got me kind of agitated to the point where I thought the rest of the trailer was garbage, but Quincey kind of pulled me back. It takes notes from Legacy of Kain. And I'm like, why don't you just work on Legacy of Kain again? I would purchase Legacy of Kain 1 and 2, both Soul Reavers, as soon as, like, you HD render them, I don't care. I will rebuy them. They are amazing games. If you're into nice little hack and slashers with a little bit of climbing elements, those are amazing. But this game looked really bad. And then when he said spin to win with, twin blades, and it looked like a T-pose with little tiny particle effects on the end, I'm like, as pre-alpha, I would have kept that in the dark.
Yeah, which the point I brought up is, you're right, they probably should not have shown that. However, you got to kind of find this common ground of how much do I show to get people interested, but not show to scare them away. Because then you have EA over here who's like, yeah, we have a Star Wars game. Here's the name. We'll give you a title. We'll give you the title, but that's it.
I mean, to be fair, we got that with the next Elder Scrolls, and so we're just like, okay, we're getting the
very
next
true. And I was also a little bugged by that. Yeah, there was like some imagery, but that didn't really show anything. I mean, that's not. They can claim it's in game engine all they want, but that doesn't mean anything.
You're right.
So that still bothered me a little bit for the Elder Scrolls things. Granted, I'm not a big Elder Scrolls fan like I am Star Wars. So the Star Wars thing pushed me a little bit more.
Yeah, we're a little coin flipped on it, where you're more Star Wars, I'm more.
Although, since you're talking about Elder Scrolls, Blade launched last night for early access.
Oh, okay.
You can only play when the game's actually active. Because it's like a beta.
Timed beta. Okay, yeah. I get you.
I've got the notification set up on my phone waiting for the first one to come around. But I did do the first little training hack and slash with the sword.
Mm-hmm.
It feels okay. I feel like I have to get used to it, and that's on me. It does really matter what you're doing, though. It's not just a click and you're going to swipe type of thing. You have to click and hold. They'll then let go and they'll swing the sword. The thing is you're wanting to hold down on the screen until the circle goes all the way to a certain point to let go and actually do some real damage. And in that time, the person's hacking and slashing at you and moving. You very well could miss because where you're holding, they could have moved to do a swing by the time you let go.
Oh.
So it's not just going to be a tap, 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 tap type of game, which I like because I hate how many iPhone games are just tapping all day long. It drives me nuts. It's boring. Give me a little bit more to it. So I'm kind of happy about this. You want to talk about this, which will lead me into my next subject. So.
All right. So, my whenever I'm sick, the game that I go to is Hyper Light Drifter. I've done a spot of it on the YouTube channel when I was coughing up 3 lungs, and it is one of my go-to games just because I love listening to the music. I've beaten it once. It took me a long while to beat it, but I've beaten it once. I love it. Love it to death. The music more so. It's getting a TV series on either. I don't know if it's going to be on Netflix, but it says that it's going.
Oh, it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay. Well, even still, if it is going to be on Netflix, holy crap! Hyperlight as a game is just atmospheric and just very strong. It hits a lot of notes. It gets some dark and serious stuff, and then you look over and you're wondering how is it going to translate into a TV show. And I'm sure it'll be fine, but I don't know the specifics of like what story it's going to tell or what it's going to add. I just hope that
Now it's being done by the same people that did Castlevania.
That's another thing. So are we only going to get a couple episodes?
Probably.
I mean, if we get 6 episodes, I can foresee it doing some really good stuff.
Now, I think this is the second thing. I could be wrong. I just heard about this one twice, but I think this is the second thing that Netflix announced that the Castlevania crew is doing. And I'm like, well, don't spread yourself too thin because you still have Castlevania and now 2 other projects. Now, I'm not saying you're spreading yourself thin, but no. I know how Netflix is about,
chop,
project, and I just don't want these guys ending up with 30 projects and then going, oh, we're overworked.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, then again, you also have the open and closed hand of... I'm just going to throw this out there. Something I've talked about in the past. The Kickstarter from Critical Role for the Legend of Vox Machina just hit about $8.1 million. If they hit 8.8, they get 10 episodes. So that makes me wonder, with those 10 episodes, are we getting it all at once? Are we gonna see them signed to someone that'll take care of this?
That's the thing. Even companies like Netflix and Hulu have started doing certain shows where they've gotten away from the all at once thing,
which makes me kind of agitated. I mean, on a small level, where what was the Guild on?
Like Fox or something. I don't know.
Even still, you can have the Guild being pushed for that, and then as soon as the 3rd season got launched, and then it was and then you have something that's
I didn't watch it.
It was okay. I can't say it was bad. I do enjoy most of those actors doing their thing, and me being a WoW junkie, of course it pulled me in. But then you have something that is crowdfunded, verified, $8 million out the gate, less than 3 weeks. I would say pick that up.
I'm not saying it's not going to be picked up. I was just more talking about the way they do the episode releases is changing, where not all shows are all 8 episodes at once. Sometimes they are doing it as weekly episodes.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to break that up. Netflix CEO a couple years back said his goal is to get it to where you're having new content coming out every day.
That's going to be a difficult... That's almost the entire world working on things.
But the way he covers that is that there's some shows that'll be releasing on every Monday. There's some shows that'll be releasing on every Tuesday. That basically become just a regular network, just on your console and on your time without the commercials.
Okay. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I like binging. Like, when they dropped all of Punisher, I KO'd it in 2 days.
I like binging too, but it's caused a problem that even Netflix has kind of admitted is a problem. They kind of created the whole binging thing themselves. They did this to themselves, but binging became a thing, and then they went, oh, wait, you didn't binge every episode in 24 hours. You must not like it. No, I have a job. No, I have this. I have
I'm
that.
tired.
Yeah.
Like, I can't watch, how many episodes? 13 episodes at an hour each, so I can't watch 13 hours-ish.
My fucking internet went out. Like, there's plenty of reasons why I didn't watch 13 hours worth of television. And you take it as I'm not interested and you cancel my shows, when in reality is I still have a fucking life. Do you want me to pay the $10 a month? Because if you want me to pay the $10 a month, I have to go to work. And so I've seen a couple articles where people have broken down that, they did the binging, they created the binging, and now regret it because it kind of fucked them up and kind of screwed them over. They've even taken certain shows where they release half the season right away, like The Ranch, and then they release the other half later in the year.
Doing things like that, though, it would require you to do in my mind, it would require you to do a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it doesn't do that, then it doesn't. For some, it would just be like, okay, I'll watch this.
Which I think they did.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay. Then if they did do that, good for them. But if it didn't do that, it's like, ugh.
And that right there kind of dates back to The Sopranos started this fucking craze with television that we're still seeing today. Sopranos was the first show to start doing mid-season breaks.
Okay.
Where we confirmed you're going to get a full 24-episode season. Halfway through that season, we're going to take 2 or 3 months off, though, and then come and bring back the other half. You're getting it. It's not going to get canceled.
I'm looking at what is it called? Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Where it's literally months before we get 5 episodes, and then months before we get.
I
5
think the
more.
issue with that is cartoons don't work on the same plane of seasons as regular television series.
Yes and no. I don't know what goes on behind those closed doors, but when we're continuously getting Teen Titans Go, and it's like,
yeah, that's
and then
light on everything.
Yeah, and then we finally get a couple episodes of Steve, and we're like, yes, Steven Universe, and then all of a sudden more Teen Titans Go, and it's like,
yeah. But
they even canceled OK Go, or not OK Go, OK KO.
I think OK Go's the band where they did the thing on the treadmill.
Yeah. KO, I don't remember. It's the kid who wants to be a superhero, and he does it through fist fighting. But even still, they got rid of that one too, and I was like, I personally would not. I would have liked it better if I was maybe 10 years younger.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm always down for the little tiny guy trying to be the big guy.
Yeah. Well, and then you got shows like Mystery Incorporated or Gravity Falls where they came in, they told their story, and they left.
Yeah.
And it's like, but we're over here dying for more. Because Gravity Falls is amazing. Give me another summer.
Gravity Falls would be another thing I would like to see.
Yeah. Mystery Incorporated was amazing. Give me another season.
I still need to watch it.
Yeah, you do. But we'll deal with that later. But this all leads me into a few TV things and movie things I wanted to talk about.
Yep.
So we'll start with some good news before we lead into some bad news.
Oh no, there's bad news.
So Angelina Jolie is in talks to star in a Marvel Studios movie. They're not saying what character yet because it's all just like she's in talks. Nothing's confirmed yet. However, they are saying it's going to be the Eternals, which I don't really know much about. I know that there's a character that really hates humans, and that's about as far as my knowledge goes.
Do you think she'll do a villain?
She's done it before.
I know.
Maleficent. So
I know.
But she played Maleficent as like she was a villain, but for good reasons.
What is it? Chaotic good?
Kind of. Like she was screwed over. And that's what led her to become a villain.
The spite.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be directed by...
Petty.
Now, I don't know how to say this name. I think it's Chloe or Chloe Zhao. I fucking don't know.
Chloe.
Oh, is that Chloe? I'm just a warning. I'm dyslexic. I'm pretty dyslexic. So
I'm bringing it up.
okay, so it is Chloe. I feel stupid. But Zhao. Zhao. Okay.
To do the Eternals.
Yeah, she's directing Eternals. That part is legitimate. It's the Angelina may or may not thing, which I'm cool for. Bring Angelina in.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
I'm curious on what she would do. Then again, I'm also in the same thing where I'm just like, I don't know. But
the one thing that worries me is Angelina hasn't done action in a while. So is this going to be like a character that's just very talky, which she can do. But I want to see Angelina kick some ass. I miss watching Angelina beat the shit out of people.
I'm gonna go 50-50. I'm gonna say give us some like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where it's all gunplay, so that way she's not having to do a lot of flippy flips.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, it's Marvel. There aren't very many gunplay characters.
You're right.
There are gunplay characters, and your favorite is one of them, but it's not quite as crazy shoot 'em up as some comic industries are. So I mean, I'm here for it if she goes for it. If not, best luck to her on whatever she does decide to do instead. You know, I'm an Angelina fan.
I mean, I'm alright with her. I'm wrong with her.
You know, I didn't hate the first Tomb Raider. I kind of hated the second Tomb Raider.
I didn't mind the first one either. It's just, it was a very lackluster story, but I mean, it wasn't bad by any way, shape, or form. The second one, no, I concur fully. So more in movies is Jay and Silent Bob reboot is finished. Oh, now, hell yeah.
For anyone that's confused on this, it's not a reboot of the Jay and Silent Bob.
No.
It's Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back was about them going and stopping the Jay and Silent Bob Bloodman and Chronic movie from being made.
Yes.
Jay and Silent Bob reboot is about them going and stopping the reboot of the Bloodman and Chronic movie from being made. Which is an interesting subject to hit. And this is what happens when a nerd's directing movies.
Yeah. And I love Kevin Smith now.
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of his. Like, I went from I know very little to I hope I get to talk to him someday.
Yeah, he's just a lovable dude.
He seems like And then we had just watched Live Free or Die Hard, and you told me about how he wasn't too big a fan of Bruce Willis.
Well, he was obsessed with Bruce Willis. He thought he was one of the best actors, and then when he went on to direct him in Cop Out after they had met on Live Free or Die Hard, he realized Bruce Willis has become very difficult to direct, to the point that he doesn't watch Bruce Willis movies now.
Oh.
Because Bruce Willis just kind of ruined it for him.
Oh no.
He doesn't like to talk about it anymore because he's talked about it so much, but it got bad to the point where he asked him to do something. He goes, "Hey, do you remember when such character from such movie did this? Can you kind of give me that a little bit?" Talking about a role Bruce Willis had done. And Bruce Willis was just kind of like, that was in the past. Like, I'm not that character now. And he's like, I get that, but this is kind of what I'm looking for the scene. And so he goes, he just kind of walks back into place and goes, action. And he redelivers what he had previously done. And he goes, no, man, this is what I'm looking for you to do. Action. And just basically keeps redoing it. It took several takes before he finally did it. And they finally got it. And then he looks at Smith and goes, that was for you.
Why, thank you.
Why, thank you for doing your job.
Yeah, I don't know. If they're asking for a direction of which, this is similar to this character, give me that. Fucking do it, man.
And I watched Cop Out. I didn't think it was a bad movie.
No.
I didn't even realize it was a Kevin Smith movie. That's the crazy thing.
You got to show me that. That one's one of the ones.
It's Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan. Yeah. And what's his name?
That's a weird combo.
I can't think of his name. Stifler from American Pie. Sean William Scott is in it for a few minutes. It's fun. They play cops in Brooklyn. It's a comedy, but it's also got its action. And
does he do the whole shtick of yippee-ki-yay or no? He doesn't do the.
No, and honestly, I think Tracy Morgan's the saving grace of that movie.
You think so?
He was chewing up the scenery in that. He was very enjoyable.
Because let me preface this. I don't mind Tracy Morgan. It's just
he can be a bit much sometimes.
He can be heavy.
Like he was great in Longest Yard.
Yeah, I would say that.
But I watched all of 30 Rock, and after a bit, I'm slamming my head into the table.
Like, let's see.
He also did
like, I know he does stand up. Yeah, he does stand up.
Yeah, he does stand up, but he came back. Oh, not came back, but he became the new host for Fear Factor. And that was just a little weird. It wasn't as good as before.
That was the weird one.
G-Force?
Yeah.
The guinea pig movie?
There was another animated one that he was in, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised. He's got a very recognizable voice. Oh, Rio. I didn't watch it, but I heard really good things about both of them.
I didn't even know they made a second one.
He was in Head of
Cranky Yankers.
Yeah, Cranky Yankers had a lot of famous people you don't realize were in it. He was in Head of State, and I don't remember who.
I think his friend.
I'm spacing on it because I know Bernie Mac was his brother in it and vice president.
But yeah, VO. Yeah, and slapped all the people as he comes out.
Yeah, which was freaking hilarious.
Probably the best running scene in probably that entire movie.
Is Bernie Mac slapping everybody when he gets off the train?
Yeah. Excuse me, can you talk about
Okay. Do you think I can get you to pick up my demo? No,
I don't know.
It wasn't a terrible movie. It was a fun movie.
It was an alright movie.
But yeah. So I'm a Kevin Smith fan. Cop Out's the only one of his movies I've ever seen in theater. Because I mean, I was younger when
Who did Dogma?
Kevin Smith.
You never. Oh well, I'm sure you saw Dogma though.
Yeah, I've seen his entire set of work. I just haven't seen, except for the animated movie. I haven't seen the animated one. I haven't seen anything else in theaters other than Cop Out. I wanted to see Red State in theaters, but he took that one on tour, and I just didn't get the chance.
Oh.
Mallrats was in '95, so I'm gonna put my age out there. I was 2.
I saw Clerks 2 in the theaters.
I wish I had. I liked Clerks 2.
It showed the director's cut of it.
Oh, okay.
That ending scene.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
I was not a happy camper toward the end of it.
So Red State is amazing if you haven't seen it.
What's it about?
It's
give me the quick.
Basically, you know Westboro Baptist Church?
The Crazy?
Yeah, it's basically them if they were killing gay people, and then the FBI go in and have to take them down.
Wow.
It's not. You do not realize this is a Kevin Smith movie. Furthermore, he doesn't cast anyone that's been in his previous movies in this one. So it's really good. It was on Netflix for the longest time. Understand that it made $1.8 million in the box office, but it never got a nationwide release.
Oh, so it was a closed.
He actually had to take it on tour to get it to make money because the studio didn't really pick it up. He had investors for it.
That's a depressing thing, and I mean, it got fair reviews. So I mean, it seems like it would be a good movie. It's just it kind of got a little shake of hands.
Clerks, I was a year old when Clerks came out.
Yeah.
Clerks 2, I just didn't go and see it. Zack Mary Make a Porno, I just didn't go and see it. A lot of his movies I just didn't go and see, not because I didn't want to. I didn't have the chance to or the time to. And then there's Cop Out, the one I did see, which wasn't terrible. Oh yeah, do you remember he was in Daredevil, the movie? He plays the coroner.
Oh, the one that talks to the detective.
The reporter.
Yeah.
He was in Scream.
Was he a reporter?
Yeah, he was a reporter.
Oh yeah, and then he flicks the fucking cigarette.
The cigarette and lights everything on fire. Holidays was an interesting one. That's one he did with a bunch of horror directors, where each one got to direct a segment. So like they picked different holidays.
So it was like shorts, or
yeah, they were like short films. There was like 3 or 4 of them in there.
Okay.
So he directed one of them, and then his daughter starred in one of them.
Okay. So he seems like he's very varied on what he can and can't do. Wait, has he done an actual superhero movie?
No. So was hired to write a Superman script that Universal passed on and then used parts of in later Superman movies. He thinks. He's like, it's all very familiar to what I wrote, but I'm not going to say they stole my ideas. But yeah, he was actually hired by not Universal, Warner Brothers. I don't know why I said Universal. He was hired by Warner Brothers to write a Superman movie back in the day. He's done a lot of voice acting in superhero movies, superhero video games, stuff like that.
So he's just basically lending a hand.
Yeah,
which is kind of nice.
He's basically decided he doesn't ever want to direct a superhero movie because he doesn't like action scenes because they're a bitch to direct. However, he has been directing a lot of episodes of Supergirl for the CW.
Okay.
Also, he said if he were to ever direct a superhero movie, he kind of would like to do The Question. Which, I love The Question, and I would love to see someone do The Question.
Is he the Blank Slate?
Yeah, Blank Slate.
That, you showed me a little bit of him.
From the Justice League cartoon?
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I would like to, now thinking about this, I would like to see this too.
Yeah, and eventually the Question passes on to a female. There's a female Question too. She takes over after I think the original Question might die, but I could be wrong.
I mean, even still, like it's an interesting take of a guy who does not show his face, conspiracy theories, paranoid.
But he's right. That's the crazy thing.
He's just smart.
He comes up with these absolutely absurd conspiracy theories, and they end up being correct.
And it's like, so I would like to see. I would like to see him do it. Yeah. I would like to see him both either write or direct or both. That particular segment, I just wonder how it would play out.
Yeah, I always thought that The Question should probably have showed up in Arrow, but now Arrow's canceled, so we will never see that.
Well, then it looks like we're getting a standalone Question.
Yeah. There's also the fact that the Arrowverse is not canceled, just Arrow is. So it's very possible we could still see him show up somewhere else, like The Flash or Supergirl or Legends of Tomorrow, anything like that. Speaking of which, the guy that plays Constantine in Legends of Tomorrow came out and said, since Constantine got his start in Swamp Thing, without Swamp Thing, there's no Constantine. Now that DC Universe is a thing and they're doing that Swamp Thing show, if they ever do Constantine, I want to be him in it. He's like, I'm Constantine and everything else. I want to be Constantine in Swamp Thing if it's ever going to be a thing.
Okay.
And I like these actors that are like that. That's how Stephen Amell was about Arrow. When Arrow was starting out and getting big and everything, he was doing voice acting as Arrow as well because he's like, I'm Arrow.
Yeah.
And anytime he hears anyone else's Arrow, he's like, no, I'm Arrow.
No,
like,
me.
I'm Green Arrow, damn it.
No, me.
But that does lead me into some sad... Well, actually, let me finish on the Kevin Smith thing.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So,
wow. Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
We kind of got sidetracked, didn't we?
The reboot is finished. He finished it in 21 days, just like Clerks, which is insane.
And when you said that, I was like, I thought that was a joke because I thought him finishing it in 21 days was just all satire and all jokey jokes. But no, I guess it is true. And
when you stop and figure that it's him and Muse, the main characters,
just
he's got to be on set anyways because he's the director and the writer, and he edits his own movies.
Yeah, so he's just literally sitting there for, 3 days tops?
Yeah, he said when he was making Zack and Mary Make a Porno, he says he was actually going home at night after they would cut filming, and he was editing in the movie. So he was actually able to show the actors the movie as it was happening.
Aww.
So that by the time the movie was finished, they'd already seen everything they had filmed. And he takes a very interesting look and work towards his movies.
I mean,
so I'm hoping to see Reboot in theaters. Like this will be my second Kevin Smith movie in theaters.
I am down to do that.
Okay.
As soon as it launches, I'm down to go with you. I'll ask for that day off and everything.
So 21 days, which is impressive on its own. Furthermore, he got back most of the actors from the original movie, including Muse's love interest, Jay. His love interest. His wife played one of the girls in the first one, so she played her again in the second one. While all this is going on, Tarantino just dropped a trailer for his 9th movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or something like that. It takes place during the Manson murders. It's got it's got Brad Pitt and Leonardo.
Okay.
And it takes place during the Manson murders. Shannon Tate's gonna there's all the characters that are connected to the Manson murders and whatnot. It just dropped its trailer while he's filming a reboot, and his daughter's in the trailer. Tarantino put his daughter in the movie.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I mean,
they both made their start over at Miramax and have now moved on, especially with Miramax's fall from grace.
Going under, yes.
So
wow, okay, that's rather impressive.
Yeah, it was very nice. I was like, oh, that's sweet. Which, for the fellow nerds out there, his daughter's name is Harley Quinn Smith. He tells the story of his wife, when they were dating, was taking a bath at his house and said, "You're always talking about comic books. Give me something to read." And so he gave her Mad Love. And so she read Mad Love while taking a bath. And she comes out and she goes, "I like the name Harley Quinn. We should name our daughter Harley Quinn." And so when they had a daughter, they named her Harley Quinn, and they sent everyone Harley Quinn statues to announce her pregnancy.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a fucking nerd.
I mean, I'm loving all these actors, directors who are just huge fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Like they are the saving graces of this entire universe.
Yeah, I like the people that aren't afraid to like the things they like.
Because you got Robin Williams, who named his daughter fucking Zelda. And she did a cast of Breath of the Wild not too long ago, and all the money went to charity to help depression.
Good. That's really good. Her and him did commercials for 4 Swords.
4 Swords, Breath of the Wild, one of the 3D ones either...
Breath of the Wild.
Not Breath of the Wild. It was a 3DS one, because I remember seeing him hold the 3DS. So I think it might have been either Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time 3D.
Maybe.
But I remember him holding the 3DS, and he was having fun with it. And I remember he had talked to, I don't think it was IGN, it was someone else of that time. I think it was Kotaku. But he talked to someone about liking the game and what he liked.
Oh, he did a thing for G4. I know that back when they were still video game channel.
Yeah, and then IGN caught a couple of people that left. But it's super cool just to see anyone
Yeah.
Going super hardcore.
Well,
on
we've got
nerd.
the ones that we've always known, like Felicia Day, who's like become a nerd staple for girls, or Chris Hardwick, who's become a nerd staple for guys and everything. Which, by the way, whenever someone's like, "Oh yeah, you're the emperor of nerds," he goes, "Don't say that." He like freaks out. He's like, "Don't, no, that puts a lot of pressure on me. I don't want that."
And then you got Matt Mercer, who is the voice of nerds.
Yeah, yeah. So you've got these ones that from the beginning have been like, "Yeah, I'm a nerd," but there's the ones that kind of you don't realize until one day they're talking and they let their nerd flag fly, and you're like, "Wait a minute, you've been a nerd this whole fucking time?"
Wait, what are you wearing? Is that a D&D shirt? You fucking nerd. I'm wearing one too.
Now we've got Matthew Lillard, who is suddenly this huge D&D nerd, and it's like, oh my god,
he was on Relics and Rarities along with Kevin Smith and others, and I'm just like, I would love to see all of them under one roof rolling dice. I would fucking die.
Well, and as you saw, and it was a small role, but as you saw with Live Free or Die Hard, Kevin can act.
Kevin can do some pretty okay acting.
He did really well with that, with those scenes.
He kept his distance from a lot of other people. What was the skinny kid's name? Josh Hart.
Long. Justin Long.
Justin Long?
Yeah.
Okay. Even still, he kept his distance away from everyone except for him, so it was hard to see how he is as like an emotional actor, because all he did was like strangle Justin and be like, "Why you bring him here?" That was the scene. I know. But what I'm saying is he didn't have much full interactivity.
Is that a young bearded Han Solo I see? Did you lose weight? I gained 30 pounds. What are you doing here? It was great. I love it.
He did really good.
The one thing that pisses me off, and it's a very back and forth thing, is Justin Long said Han Solo, and that bothers me. To me, it's Han. I don't like people that say Han. I could be wrong. I don't care. It's Han.
Where do you stand on who shot first?
Depends on which version of the movie you watched.
Really?
Yeah,
you're
because
that
there's a version of the movie where Han shoots first, and there's a version of the movie where Greedo shoots first. I've got one of the first edits where Han shoots first. Or not Han, where Greedo shoots first. I can't get my hands on a fucking Han shooting first one. That's almost impossible. But I have one of the very first edits that they did with that.
Okay. I mean, I
think the Laserdisc has Han shooting first, but who the fuck has a Laserdisc player?
Who even what's a Laserdisc? That's when I was born. That's my kind of old.
So you see those posts on Facebook where they're like, "What's something kids these days will never understand if you say it?" My go-to is VCR rewinder.
Because you didn't have the VCR that would rewind the tapes themselves. You would have to put it into a separate machine.
And then later on, you were told the lie of, it's bad for the machine for you to rewind on it. That's why you need the VCR rewinder.
It's like, it plays it just fine.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Oh, the 90s.
God, we're so fucking old.
Yeah,
our fan base is like, what's a fucking VCR?
So, okay. Do you remember Betamax?
Yes.
Do you actually realize that Betamax had better specs?
Yes.
It just failed because of marketing?
Yes, I do. My AV, whatever we call it, the AV room always had the Betamax players, and it had a converter from VHS to Betamax.
Wow.
Which was very expensive for those schools. So I was like, Jesus Christ. They spent that much on that. Whatever. And then we were watching... what was the last thing I saw on it? I think it was Men of Honor.
Oh, good movie.
It's a very good movie. I think that was the last thing I saw on that before we left the school, but it was so crisp. The audio quality was so great.
Well, I still have my VCR. I actually have a VCR DVD combo. I'm fancy.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. Does it rewind the tapes?
It rewinds the tapes.
Oh.
And I actually have a good chunk of my VHS tape collection. And people ask why I still have them. And I said, because a lot of these that are on DVD or Blu-ray now are completely different.
Yeah.
And it's not a lie, like I mentioned with the Star Wars one. I think I actually have I have 2 Star Wars box sets, and I think one has before they edited Jabba in, and one has after they edited Jabba in to the first movie, A New Hope. And then there's also things like what I was telling you about with Aladdin. The original Aladdin, they have the line about they'll cut off your ear if they don't like your face, which is not in pretty much every release after that first tape releasing. Yeah. They changed the song because of the way people were reacting to it.
Which I don't know why they would cut it out, considering each and every one of the Disney tales has a really tragic ending, except for maybe Spare 2.
People were saying it made their culture look bad, so you have to respond to things like that, and if you don't,
okay, all right, I'll give it to you.
So But let me finish up with the movie news and TV news.
Of course.
So that was the good stuff. Now here's some of the sadder stuff. Shadowhunters is ending on Freeform, which I do believe it's based off a book series. I didn't watch it. That being said, I'm all for adaptations doing well. So that ending is kind of sad. However, Freeform is giving them a 2.5 hour long final episode. That's a hell.
That's a
Excuse me. Sorry.
that's
That
a
is
movie.
a hell of a final episode.
That's a movie.
Like, that's longer than most movies that are made still to this day. I mean, yeah, we've got Endgame coming out for 3 hours, and yeah, Deadpool 2 pushed just over 2 hours. But when you stop and think about it, Deadpool 1 was under 2.
Endgame at 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 3 minutes, 12 minutes is the final runtime.
Yeah.
At opening trailers to end of credits.
The Russos are begging everyone to go and see it opening week because they worry about the internet ruining it like they ruined the last one.
Which is,
With spoilers.
To be fair, that is a valid point.
No, the whole movie was ruined for me within like 24 to 48 hours of it being out.
Yeah.
For the first for
Horse
Infinity
bite.
War.
Yeah.
And then the other sad news is Supernatural is ending. After this will be season 15, I do believe.
It's a fair long distance.
A very impressive run. However, I'm wondering what they're doing because they said it's ending. It's done. You know, we're going to end the series. It's going to get a full season run, though. But we're going to end the series. I'm like, okay. And then Jensen Ackles, who plays Dean in it, comes out and goes, yeah, it's ending. But nothing ever really ends in Supernatural now, does it? And I'm like, what does that mean?
Stop it.
What does that mean?
Stop it.
Tell me, what does that mean?
So I think he might be doing something maybe solo?
Maybe. Well, I mean, I doubt that he would have to because him and Jared are best fucking friends. And Misha is now best friends with him as well, which is Castiel and Sam.
So you think that maybe they might be doing something solo project?
I'm kind of hoping that, and I may be hoping for too much, but I'm kind of hoping Supernatural goes the point of Psych, where Psych ended and was gone for a couple of years and then came back with a TV movie. And the TV movie did so well that they are now working on TV movie number 2 that'll be out this year.
Okay.
And some of the actors have even come back and said, I'm down to do one of these a year if the studio says yes. And it's like, that's an interesting way to start doing TV series where they're ending. So you pop out a movie every year. You have to put in less time, less money, but you get people just as excited.
Yeah.
People come in, they watch it, they buy the DVDs, they buy the Blu-rays, they buy the merchandise.
Yeah, sure. Why the
I'm a
fuck
huge
not?
Psych fan. I went nuts when I heard there was a Psych movie coming out. And the way I found out is I never stopped following Psych's TV's Twitter, even though the show had ended. I just forgot to stop following it. And then they're like, we're back and there's going to be a movie. I'm like, holy crap, there's a movie! And then a few other things that are really quick in television, then we can move on to what you got up here.
Okay.
So Batman Hush is getting a Blu-ray,
No.
DVD digital release this summer.
Now, I am going to go on a limb and say I enjoyed the 2 books of Batman that you had me read, The Long Halloween and...
I had to read Hush.
Yeah, oh yeah, and Hush. And both spectacular.
Mhm.
Marvelous. I would like to see a lot more in the animated universe. I'm not saying I don't like their live action. I just want to see more animated.
I'm going to say it. I don't like their live action. Granted, I haven't seen
Aquaman
or Wonder Woman.
But from what we have seen in the past.
Yeah.
Like I saw Batman vs Superman thinking it was going to be good.
So I finally watched Deadpool 2.
Okay, yeah.
And he straight up calls out Batman vs Superman, and I
yeah,
loved it.
He hits a lot of good notes, I will admit. But then some of the jokes just feel like they're a little lackluster. And then the whole scene where he's shaking hands with Cable and then does that fart. And I'm like, is that where we really are, Ryan? Is that all we are to you? Is just a joke?
I don't remember that.
when he's shaking his hand and then...
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Oh, okay.
But I enjoyed it. So
He's got the baby legs.
yeah, I remember that scene.
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch it.
Okay.
But the animated stuff that they turn out for DC is almost always amazing. I don't think I've seen anything I truly haven't liked other than Teen Titans Go. That being said, the DC Universe subscription service that they're doing now is bothering me because they have a Harley Quinn show that they're working on, and they have Kaylee Cuoco voicing her. And I don't like her voice on Harley. It doesn't work. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right. it kind of takes you out of the fact that it's Harley's voice, and you almost feel like it's just someone talking over Harley. That's me personally.
I can see it.
And then my last thing in television is we talked a couple weeks ago about how Matthew Lillard isn't going to be Shaggy in that new movie they're working on. Now we've got a confirmation on who's going to be Fred, and it's not Frank Welker.
But he is
who has literally voiced Fred in everything.
And he's playing Scooby.
And he's playing Scooby in this. I've never known Frank Welker not to voice Fred other than live action adaptations. And now they're doing Zac Efron.
I mean, I'm not gonna take away from him.
I like Efron.
He's okay. I'm not gonna say I've only seen him in 3 things, and one of them is one that I actually enjoy. So,
did you see Neighbors?
No.
That was actually hilarious.
Was it?
It was him and Seth Rogen. It was great.
Really?
Yeah. Basically, Seth Rogen and his wife buy a house and move in. They move in next door to a frat house.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
Okay.
I didn't see the sequel.
Okay.
And then he did a more serious movie with Michael B. Jordan and the guy that played Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four remake. And that one was actually pretty good. It had its funny moments, but it also had its serious moments, and I rather enjoyed it. Like, he gets invited, he's dating this girl, and he gets invited to go to a dress-up party. So he shows up with a dildo hanging out of his pants with a shirt that says, "Rock out with my cock out," and realizes when she said dress-up party, she meant, like, black tie event.
Yeah.
And he says, oh well, and continues to stay at the party. It was a fun movie.
Yeah.
From my understanding, he did great in Baywatch. I didn't watch it. I'm not against it because hell, they got almost everyone back from my understand. But
it's just I don't know.
just never got around to it.
Yeah, but I don't really care much to know about a beach lifeguard.
To be fair, I watched Baywatch, the TV show. I have issues.
I watched Grey's Anatomy, so
I also watched Knight Rider. I think I just really like the Hoff.
Yeah, Hoff was a good man.
He's
still a good man.
And the fact that he 1 showed up in Guardians 2 and 2 did a song for it, like that was amazing.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, I'm not digging this whole new Scooby-Doo movie, and right now it's going under the name of Scoob.
Which doesn't sound good on its own.
No.
It doesn't even sound like it would be. If you said Scoob to me and told me what the movie, or tried to make me guess what the movie was about, I would not initially go towards Scooby-Doo.
Like, you hear Shaggy call him Scoob, and you get a, let me see if I can get this. Let me see if I can get this going. I can do a Shaggy voice, but I've never had to do it on mic before, so hold on. Zoinks! Like, Scoob, let's get out of here, man! It's a thing.
It's pretty good.
But I don't know about it being a title. It's that everything about this movie is just rubbing me the wrong way. They casted someone for Daphne. I'm spacing on her name. She was in A Million Ways to Die in the West. She was in Mean Girls. He's going to pull it up. And then we already talked about the Shaggy recast. Amanda Seyfried. So maybe it wasn't the actress I was thinking it was. Is Amanda Seyfried in this?
Yep.
Okay, so I was right. Yeah, it's Amanda Seyfried. Will Forte as Shaggy. Gina Rodriguez as Velma. I mean, I'm open because I don't know what Gina's voice sounds like. And Velma's actually been recasted a lot of times. So is Daphne. But I mean, Frank Welker is there for Scoob. Why is he not there for Fred? He has to do more work to be Scoob than he does Fred.
Yeah.
Frank Welker is pretty much every animal you ever heard on television. And then you have Tracy Morgan showing up in this as someone.
We were just talking about
yeah,
which is very strange.
He's got a memorable voice though.
He does. I'm all for it. I'm not. As I said, I'm not against Tracy Morgan, but sometimes he's just a little bit much. I'm worried that he's going to be a little bit much for this.
But I'm gonna have to see what the case is on this movie, and I'm gonna have to see what Frank Welker has to say. I mean, you've already had Matthew Lillard come out and say he doesn't want us boycotting the movie. He just wished he was properly told. Like that's what's upsetting him. And he likes Will Forte. He thinks he's a good actor, so he hopes he does well with it.
I mean, yeah, he's done a lot of things from the look of it. He's done Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, MacGruber.
Yeah, he's the last man on Earth. He was in How I Met Your Mother for a little bit.
He did Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that's actually where he got his big break. He was on the Cleveland Show for a while. He's done Lego movies. He was in Gravity Falls.
Was he? Oh, he was.
Like he's done a good amount of stuff. He's not Shaggy to me. Because whenever he does something, he does his voice. He does his own voice.
I really want to know what he voiced.
You know, and we've already talked about the Shaggy thing. I don't want to go too far into it.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I'm not really open to this movie. And However, I am open to another show that they have been talking is supposed to be a thing. Do you remember the Scooby-Doo? I think it was Hollywood Movies, I think was the name, where they would run into a different famous person each episode. There was an episode where they met Three Stooges. There was an episode where they met Sonny and Cher, things like that. Do you remember that at all? That's where they met Don Knotts.
I probably have seen it. Okay. It's just been way too long.
There's talks of them doing a new run like that, where it's Scooby and the gang solving mysteries and running into celebrities and helping them solve mysteries.
That's fine.
And fair. I'm like, I'm cool with that. But get me the voice actors I want.
Okay.
And you found out who he played in
Gravity Falls, which get him.
Yeah, he's Tyler Cute Biker, so that's probably the one time I've heard him do a voice.
Get him. Which, I mean...
He did well.
I mean, not a lot, but get him. I don't fucking know what the fuck, man. Like, that's all he gets is just get him.
So that's the last thing I had for TV. Did you want to go into our discussion, or did you want to cover some more news?
All I had left was just a small tidbit of another movie. I don't even think this would have registered in my mind if it wasn't actually produced well. But Angry Birds is getting a sequel.
Yeah, I didn't watch Angry Birds and I wasn't interested.
It has a good child plot, which means it's not going to be boring by any way, shape, or it's not going to be Emoji Movie. Fuck no, it's not.
I didn't watch the Emoji Movie.
Oh, don't. It will rot your skull. It will burn.
Oh, is that what's wrong with you lately?
Maybe. You know what? Maybe that might be why I'm a little.
That's why you're off.
But on open and closed hands, it's not like that. Angry Birds seems to actually have some substance to it. Sure, it's not the flick and watch things crumple game. It actually has a plot.
Yeah, that's the thing though, is the games had the plot of the pigs stole their children and were trying to eat them. Yeah. And I was like, okay, make that the movie. But the movie was like, he's getting rejected by women because of the strong bird and stuff. What I saw from the trailers, I didn't watch the movie.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, fine, we're gonna find a different form of food. Whatever. They made a halfway parlay treaty, not necessarily a peace treaty, but a parlay treaty where they're like, we'll worry about that later.
Blast! Whoever came up with parlay.
Yeah, I know, right?
It'd be the French.
But then this one is there's a third party now. The enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing. And so the pigs have to work with the birds to take out this new Icelandic style third party. And I'm like, okay. I mean, you got another movie set up.
Yeah.
They have a few little tiny teasers in the trailer that it's gonna be a lot of satire. The guy who plays Bomb, very funny. He delivers his lines very well. I eat dirt. And then just coughs up dirt. And I'm just like, okay, you get one pass.
I just find the Angry Birds thing to be so weird because it blew up in 2010, 2011, somewhere around there?
Maybe a little later than that.
The games were huge. And then they started getting sequels to the games, and they started licensing material to where there was... 2009 was when it was released.
Yeah.
And then, they started licensing material to where you got Star Wars Angry Birds and stuff like that. And then... for some reason, a game that is about killing pigs because they're trying to eat your children suddenly became a kids thing, and they started making toys and stuffed animals and
a board
cartoons and a board game and whatnot and comic books. And I'm like, weird. And then they came out with a family movie, which the only trailer I ever saw was him being mad that, the girls were interested in the buff guy. And I'm like, still kind of weird that this is being geared towards family somehow.
And now a sequel.
I mean... I guess more power to them as long as it's not crap,
Those, yeah, there's a lot to be imagined with a movie that is based on Bird.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, I could be completely wrong. This could be, their magnum opus for all I know. But I just, So, I do have some more news, but do you want to get into this first?
Nah, go ahead. Let's finish up with the news.
Okay. Iron Man PlayStation VR game in celebration of how many PlayStation VRs they sold, which I'm down for. I have the PlayStation VR. I'd like an Iron Man thing.
2.4 million copies, 2 units.
I am one of those units. I am a single unit.
You are a single unit?
I am not G unit.
G unit?
But I am a unit. This one's one I never played, but Bulletstorm.
Yeah.
Okay. It's coming to the Switch, and it's the Duke Nukem version. It will come with Duke. You don't have to buy him or anything.
Yeah. Now I don't mind the game. The only thing I had a problem with was the console release had terrible controls.
Mm-hmm.
Running was this other, I think it was A, and then it was.
I don't like games that change the running button.
Well, if it would have been nice if I could have changed it. Because I just downloaded it on my Xbox, and I was like, oh yeah, I wonder what the controls are going to be like on this. I'm super excited because you have to run, dive, punch people up in the air. They float there. You can punch them into spikes. You can blow them to pieces because their defenses are down, that sort of thing. And it's all about the style of the kill, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, good. And then as soon as I figure out the controls, I'm like, oh, this does not feel good at all. I do not like this.
Hopefully they eventually patch it, but it's been out for a while.
I mean, I would like to customize controls on a lot of games. There's a few games that allow you to do it, and it allows me to do it, so I'm going to do it. Apex Legends allows you to do it, so I'm going to do it.
But, I mean, it's coming to Switch. Maybe it'll work better on Switch. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they release like some kind of demo or something so you can try it out, see how it feels.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's coming with the Duke stuff. They're saying you're not going to buy any DLCs. Everything's coming over.
Yeah.
And then I want to touch on this really quick. I know you didn't want to talk about this one too much because we don't have much information, but they've announced there is a new Legend of Zelda's game. It is being worked on the Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword? Yeah, Skyward Sword people. So hopefully good things.
I mean, yeah, give us something. You give us a little, we'll take a lot. Because there's a lot to think about. Because there hasn't been a really bad Zelda game in the last 20 years.
I mean, every Zelda game I've played, I've enjoyed, but I have not played every Zelda game.
I get that.
So
and I'm right there beside you. I haven't touched the last 4, but on an open and closed hand as far as like reviews or just people talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think you and I both heard Breath of the Wild is probably one of the best games on Switch. You want to get a Switch just for that.
Yeah, I want to get a Switch because of Breath of the Wild. That being said, I am open to getting it for other reasons as well.
Oh,
because
course.
I like Nintendo's properties.
And, I mean, having it be a strange survival for Zelda games. You have to cook, you have to eat, and then
they
get a stamina bar.
I think they took what works in other games and basically applied it to N64 or Zelda. Because it's very open world and unlocking things and carrying things and stuff like that, like Majoro and Ocarina were.
Yeah.
But then they added the survival elements from what you would expect in a regular RPG.
Somewhat. I mean, I don't think you have to eat, but I mean, I think there is a survival mode where you have to eat.
Yeah,
but even
plenty of games have done survival modes.
But even
over at Bethesda's got survival modes in their games that require you to drink and eat, and if you don't, you die.
Yeah, and even still, in the Breath of the Wild, it's tough as nails, and there's an even tougher than nails mode in that game,
which kind of makes me go, oh fuck. Now my next thing kind of brings me up to something. We talked about GOG a while back because they brought in Diablo 1, and you got excited because you misunderstood me.
I did. I thought he mentioned when he said it was going to be free. And I was like, oh, sweet, I get to go through Diablo 1 again. And then I pop on the website, $10. I was like, maybe. I was leaning toward no more than maybe, but because, I mean, I would prefer Diablo 2. I would pay $20 for the game and Lords of Destruction, the expansion. But then I was like, I don't know, $10. And then he mentioned something that makes you go, maybe I will spend that money.
So now GOG's got something else that they've got coming from Blizzard, and that's Warcraft 1 and 2 are now available on GOG.
I've loved Warcraft 2. That was one of the first real-time strategy games I have ever played. And I do fully enjoy Warcraft 2's stylings, the little tiny quips they got. It's an old relic that I'm trying to process in my mind again, but I don't remember much.
Now, I haven't actually played Warcraft 1 or 2, so this actually opens up a door for me.
Yeah, if you want to check it out.
So, I mean, I'm all for it. Then my very last thing for today, unless something comes to mind before we end the episode, because we are going to go into a bit of a discussion after this, is there was a press conference basically with the CEO of Project
Red.
Project Red. Thank you. I had like a blip in my mind there. He came out and talked E3, and he's saying E3 is going to be insane. He says that it's going to be spectacular. It's going to be the most amazing E3 they've ever done.
I don't know. That sounds like a toot of a lot of horns, because I get this. The whole idea of creating a whole bunch of different graphics engines and saying that all these can be made into games a lot quicker. That's like Kojima saying the Fox engine, one game a year, that sort of thing. I don't know what that's going to do, considering like their games look fucking amazing.
I mean, I play Witcher 3 and I love it.
Yeah, like they all look great, and using the same engine to make things look good. And
what bothers me is this is the same company that originally announced Cyber 2077 in 2012, then released a trailer in 2013, and then last year told us it's coming to all consoles. We still don't have everything. Like, I want this damn game. Like,
I don't even see the release date for 2077 still, but
I don't think we officially have one yet.
No,
because we just got that it was coming to console last year, and that was it.
We have the specs if you want to run it on PC. Yikes!
Intense?
A little bit.
Okay, break it down for me.
Okay, the breakdown is its minimum specs is an i5 2500K, which is pretty low end. It's not necessarily bad.
However, it's also saying that the recommended requirement is also the i5.
It's an i5, but it's a 46.
Oh, but it's 46. Okay, 46.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more push. I would say that it's pretty low. Like, it's surprisingly low. I thought it would force you to have an i7, but I'm not gonna go dilly-dallying too much on whether or not this will run. But it's asking for a 1070 minimum on predicted recommended. So I would say just save some money for an RTX and let's buy an RTX. They're just as expensive as the 1070 or 10 series right now. I want to see what Nvidia has as far as the new RTX sets, but oh wow.
But I mean, cool. Maybe they'll blow us away at E3. Maybe they won't. E3 is going to be a big thing for us to cover. The other thing he came out and said is Gwent's coming to mobile,
which was an interesting topic.
We're not getting it until fall, and even then we're getting it on iPhones first, which is good for me but bad for you if you wanted to play it. I'm saying,
yeah.
But it's like launch it on all at once, and give us a better release date than fall. And we don't have early fall, mid fall, late fall. Just fall.
I mean, I'm sure probably by E3 we'll have a definitive date. It's more along the lines of they're probably working on the code, and they're probably looking at the cards, and they're going odds, ends, the lines of code that allow them to shuffle the cards, that sort of thing. They're probably saying, we're not quite ready. Yeah. So, I mean, fall is fair, considering fall's still 6-7 months away. I would say let them have it until maybe E3.
Yeah, so, I mean, just give me something at E3, otherwise I'm going to start getting annoyed. I did just remember 2 more news things.
Go for it, let's go.
Apple did their big announcement thing. We finally have some information on a few things, first of all. Second of all, we have some stuff we weren't expecting.
Oh.
So, we knew they were working on original programming, and they're going to be doing Apple TV channels and TV Plus is what they're calling it. Now it's basically going to do the same thing, where you can directly access your shows through HBO, Stars, and Hulu and whatnot like that. So that's kind of cool for people that are big on Apple and have like the Apple TVs.
But then you have people like me that don't like Apple at all, and
so now you're just hoping that their original programming makes it worth you going and investigating. However, I do believe their original programming will be available on iTunes, which anyone can get without owning an Apple product.
You are correct.
So that part's good.
But I'm just I want it to cater to me. I want it to appeal to me.
Now, when they were talking about TV Plus, it's a premium subscription service offering new original programming, a lot like Netflix or Hulu or CBS All Access, things like that. But when they were on stage doing this, they had several directors and actors come out, including Steven Spielberg, Jennifer Aniston, and Jason Momoa, as well as Big Bird and Oprah.
Ooh.
They're going to be launching it this fall, and the price has not been announced yet. So I'm a little shaky on the price. Furthermore, they announced Apple Arcade.
Yeah, I'm bringing up the list right now because there's a lot announced for it.
Yeah, so it's going to be roughly 100 games.
And I got a list of maybe 20 here. Oh, wait, here we go. On the Apple Arcade website.
Yep. It'll be coming this fall. Here, you know what? Go ahead and, can you roll that back?
Well,
Was that not you? Okay, there we go. So they're saying play over 100 groundbreaking new games where storytelling and design are pushed further than ever before. All an in-game service unlike any other. Apple Arcade hits the Apple Store this fall. Let's play. Now,
that's bold.
Some of them look good.
Some of them look good. Like, there's a Lego game.
Yeah, Lego game looks kind of fun. Whatever this is.
That one looked good. I love that little running animation that was happening. Like, we don't know anything about any of this, but they all look pretty good. It's just, as said, Apple, I need you to appeal to me. I don't mean to sound conceited like that, but I'm a hard Steam user. I just said I had 1,200 games on Steam. Make me want to open up another DRM and say I want to play this right now.
They did say that they are downloadable, so you don't have to stream them. You can play offline, which is great. Which is a fear people have because it's like, am I going to be playing this just on my tablet? No. This is going to be on phones, tablets, and computer. So there's that. I'm assuming it's not necessarily going to be making you go, oh, fuck Steam, let me go to Apple. I think it's going to be making you go, oh, Apple released a game that I'm interested in.
Yeah, okay.
Now, the problem is it's being called Apple Arcade. And it's, yet again, no price was released. So I think this is once again going to be a subscription service.
Oh, God, we're getting a Lego fucking Battle Royale.
Yep. I mean, they tried doing their version of Minecraft, which I bought. It wasn't very good.
Oh, no.
This one actually kind of looks cool. Hot lava.
Don't touch the floor because it's lava. Oh, okay, that's kind of cute.
Yeah. Here we go. This is the running one. Oceanhorn 2, Knights of the Lost Realm.
That was our first one?
Yeah, right?
Set 1,000 years before the original. Okay, that's too much backstory already.
Now, this was something that the next announcement was something that made me go, I would pay for this. First of all, because they gave me a price.
Okay.
And I don't hate the price. Second of all, price is the main reason I don't pay for something like this already. But it makes me worry. How are the companies going to make money off of this? They announced Apple News Plus, which will be a $10 per month, unlimited access to over 300 periodicals, including Wired.
Yeah, which is also including magazines, correct?
Yes, Wired magazine.
Oh, I didn't know it was a magazine. I thought it was just an online.
No, Wired started as a magazine company before they went into like online news.
Oh, okay. But even still, does it also like include like Sports Illustrated and shit? Because if it includes Sports Illustrated, I can guarantee you they will pay that $10 a month price.
So I don't have the full list in front of me.
Okay.
However, they're saying 300 plus. It's very possible it does cover Illustrated. My problem is if I'm paying $10 a month for 300 magazines, I mean $10 doesn't divide up by 300 very well. But then so how are these magazine companies going to be making their money?
I think it's going to be based on server space, considering they're pages. It's not PDFs.
Yeah, and
it's not going to be that big.
This very well could be what saves magazines from going out of business. But Maybe. It could also be what hurts some magazine companies who aren't making enough to pay their writers.
And then you also have the open and closed hand of, what are you reading? Okay, the money goes toward that.
That very true.
So if
they're not going to pay someone I'm not reading.
Yeah, because like neither one of us will probably read Better Homes. Yeah. So if we do,
probably not.
I don't know.
I would actually probably read Wired if they did some kind of movie, like if they did Entertainment Weekly, I might something like that. Yeah. You know, it just depends. I'd definitely go for some of the news companies, depending on which news companies they have.
Yeah, sure.
And then they announced one more thing, which is an Apple credit card.
A bad credit card.
So Apple already has the Apple Store card.
Okay.
This one's, I guess, different. I'm not entirely sure how it's different. They finally announced this credit card called. It'll work similarly to Apple Pay. And you can actually still do a digital version. I don't know. I don't like credit cards that are for a single company. I don't know if this is going to be usable at other places, like if it'll be a MasterCard or a Visa card.
Well, it says it works like Apple Pay, and
so I would assume it's a MasterCard?
Yeah, just using it offhand that Walgreens allows for Apple Pay, so
Yeah.
I'm not really too.
So I mean,
scared.
I'm assuming I can buy stuff anywhere with it.
Yeah.
So then it just comes down to what are
What
the
accepts Apple Pay?
APRs? Yeah, what accepts Apple Pay? Am I gonna get a physical card for the places that don't accept Apple Pay? Still a lot of questions there. However, I don't see myself buying that card anytime soon.
Yeah,
He's watching the Oceanhorn 2 Knights of the Lost Realm trailer right now. What are you thinking?
I'm looking at it. It does look a little bit like the shadows look nice, the enemies look nice, the main character looks like a Zelda-esque, Link.
Reminds me of Kingdom Hearts a little bit. in
Kind
his
of.
look.
Kind of. It reminds me of Breath of the Wild.
Maybe a little bit.
But real talk, it looks good. It has its low end textures from here to here, but it doesn't seem too bad. This one's the other one that I noticed. Beyond a Steel Sky. That reminds me of a game I played way back when.
While you're checking that out, I'm gonna hit my last news article so we can start wrapping this up.
Okay.
So this is what we can be expecting for April for video games. So I'm just gonna run down this list as quickly as possible, and we're doing this now because we won't have another episode until after the 1st of April.
Okay.
So we've got for PlayStation 4, we have my link not working. We have FAR loan sales or FAR loan sales. You have Anger Force Reloaded, Bomber Crew Complete Edition, and Sword and Fairy 6. Those are all coming out on the 2nd. None of those jump out to me.
Yeah, I don't.
April 3rd for PlayStation, you have Bow to Blood, Last Captain Standing. The 4th, you have... Can you tell me what that is? I feel like this would be closer up here.
Sorcery?
Yeah, it looks...
Sorcery.
Looks like something you might be interested in.
Goaltender, player 2 to 4. It looks like a card game?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. From that one screenshot, hard to say. But curious. I'm showing him Beneath the Steel Sky, which is a 1994 game made by, I want to say, Interactive, but it says Revolution, which is not correct. But does this look like that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is connected to Beneath the Steel Sky seems to also relevate to Beyond a Steel Sky.
So they're launching Apple Arcade with a follow-up to something then.
And
that's a good way to get people to buy it.
I played this game on the Grandpa's computer. Remember when I was telling you last week how I used to play Myst, Doom, and this was another one that I got the shareware version of. Well, not Beyond a Steel Sky, but Beneath the Steel Sky, where it's a simple point-and-click adventure, and...
He's kind of like dying in nostalgia all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're remaking things that I wouldn't have ever imagined.
I think it's a remake. I think it's a sequel.
A sequel-esque to games that I wouldn't suspect would need one.
Yeah, no, this highly anticipated sequel challenges you with thrilling puzzles and compelling characters as you try to hack the city's AI systems.
Okay, I just don't know if I would play it though. I mean, I'm oh my god, Quincey.
Yeah, they said that there's gonna be like
100
at launch, and I'm assuming they're gonna do even more.
I mean, there's a couple that already just.
It's a matter of what I can actually handle on my phone, because I don't have a tablet.
Yeah,
I don't have a gaming computer.
Oh, this game is not an exclusive. I played this game. I played Hitchhiker. It is maybe an hour-long game.
Okay.
Where you get picked up and he just starts asking you a bunch of questions. It's pretty straightforward. I will say that it has multiple endings, and I will say that the things that he has to say can strike a little close to the player, not to the person, to the player.
Interesting.
I liked it a lot. If you have an hour of time, and I think it's like $6 on Steam. I'm gonna double check right now.
I'm gonna finish this list off.
Yeah, sure.
So also for PlayStation 4, April 9th, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy.
I like Ace Attorney games.
Zenique Zero, Last Beginning, Dangerous Driving, and Falcon Age for the PSVR. April 11th, you have Earth Defense Force Iron Rain. April 16th, you have Final Fantasy X, X-2 HD Remastered. You have World War Z. You have Ghost Giant. You have My Time at Portia. Oh, Portia. Wow, see, dyslexia again.
Yeah, I played that one too. That one's. I'm actually very happy that the developers worked really hard to make that game what it is.
And then the 17th, you have Trooper Broke. I think I'm saying that. Trooper Broke?
Yeah,
Trooper Broke. That's a weird name.
That is a very yeah.
The 18th, you have the Anniversary Collection of Arcade Classics. This includes things like Haunted Castle, Typhoon, a bunch of different stuff. Twin Bee. On the 22nd, you have Jupiter and Mars for the VR. 23rd, you have Mortal Kombat 11. 26th, you have Ugly Dolls, An Imperfect Adventure, and you have Days Gone.
Oh no.
30th, you have Fade to Silence, and then there's a bunch of to be determined. I'm not going to bother with the to be determined stuff because it doesn't really help you.
Okay. So here is wherein lies the problem with Hitchhiker. It's a Humble Trove exclusive, which is specifically on the Humble Bundle Monthly.
Yeah.
Where you gotta spend $12 a month. I've been a subscriber for years, probably since it started. And it gives you access to a lot of DRM free games, and Hitchhiker is one of them. I didn't think it was an exclusive to it, but that's how I played it. It comes with a lot of stuff, but go ahead with your list if you still got more.
Yeah, now we're into Nintendo Switch. You got Darkest Hunters on the first. On the second, you have Bomber Crew, Darksiders War Mastered Edition, Spellkeeper, and Anger Force. On the third, you have Boat of Blood and Shadow Blade, Reloaded. On the fourth, you have Pitfall Planet, which I like Pitfall, so that sounds kind of interesting to me. War Theater, Overwhelm, Smashing the Battle, and
a lot of these are just coming up. Oh my god, Mextermination, Mextermination. That's a
Extermination Force.
Mextermination.
On the fifth, you have yet another Zombie Defense HD, which I played a little bit of, and it's one of those ones where you kind of top view and you're shooting shit. You have Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission, Monster Slayer, and Circuits.
A lot of these, they're just pinging off my metal noggin. I don't...
April 9th, they're getting Phoenix Wright. April 10th, Cooks Save Delicious 2.
Cook Serve Delicious.
There's no R.
You are correct. It is Cook Serve Delicious 2. It's an okay game.
I'm like, there's no R. Like, I didn't fuck that up.
You did not fuck that up. But to be fair, that game is actually pretty fun if you're into micromanagement with friends on a moving car.
That's kind of intense.
Yeah, it's like you must cook this exact meal, and you can do it with friends on a moving vehicle that's constantly moving and shifting. And so it's like everything's moving around.
That'll be weird to play on the Switch.
Yeah.
With the controllers.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's, of course, other levels and normal things with it. There's speed cooking where you can challenge a friend who... Iron Chef style, where it's like each person gets a side and they have to pull up their own little things.
Gotcha.
It's got small-time stuff that makes big changes.
Then we got the Mysteries of Woolly Mountain. I'm assuming that's probably connected to all the wool and yarn and stuff, but I could be wrong, because this is a Switch game.
You got a huge shrug from me, my dude.
Switch and Shoot. On the 11th, you have Back to Bed, Vaporum, Bot Vice, and Superstar Path. 12th, you have Street Basketball, and you have a new Nintendo Labo thing coming out. On the 16th, they also are getting that Final Fantasy remake. They're getting Tanks Meet Zombies and My Time at Porsche. On the 17th, they have Trooper Broke again. On the 19th, they have Neo Atlas 1469.
I'm looking that one up. I'm sorry, just from the name.
Neo Atlas 1469. And for some reason, the Atlas is in all caps.
1469?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the 18th, they have Katana Zero, Anniversary Collection, Arcade Classics again. God's Triggers, Our World is Ended, and Cuphead. Cuphead is coming to Switch on the 18th. So
I like Cuphead. I love Cuphead. Cuphead's a good... most of the music... Neo Atlas looks like it's just a top-down strategy style.
Oh, okay.
Not my cup of tea.
The 23rd, you have Dragon's Dogma Dark Rise.
Fuck. Oh, hell yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11 and Sidus Alpha. The 25th.
The Switch seems to be okay with M-rated games now.
I mean, if you keep turning them away, you're not going to get any business.
You're right, but I mean, Dragon's Dogma. If you haven't played it, I would recommend looking into it. It's got its feel of dreariness, but at the same time, it's small time micromanagement with a lot of mystere. It's very story driven with a little bit of fighting. You fight fucking griffins, manticores. You know, you got the whole mystere of fighting those, gorgons, that sort of thing. And it you're not strong. Not by any way, shape, or form are you strong.
So you have to really think about your battles.
Yeah, and then everything you can climb on.
I mean, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like on the Switch it might be a little difficult. I'd probably try it on console or PC or something.
It's probably just going to be just this, not this.
Hopefully.
I'm doing a gesture of normal controller and then waggle controller.
On the 25th, they're getting SteamWorld Quest Hand of Gilgamesh?
Gilgamesh? Okay, hold on. I don't think that's spelled right.
The 26th.
It is not spelled right.
Oh, well, this article sucks.
Yeah.
Damn you, Newsweek. The 26th, we're getting Box Boy plus Box Girl, the Ugly Dolls, and Moro Chronicle Hyper. The 30th, Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age. And then moving on to Xbox. Xbox is pretty much the same. I really don't want to go through the list of the exact same stuff, so I'm just going to pull out the different ones. The 5th, you're getting Frame, Dragon's Odyssey, and Smoot's World Cup Tennis. The 9th, you're getting Dangerous Driving.
Okay.
Yeah, the Xbox doesn't have a lot coming out at all. The
Quincey,
30th, you have Fade to Silence.
Japan's doing it again. This is Mero Chronicle Hyper.
And that's going to be on the Switch.
That's going to be on the Switch.
So like you said, they don't care about mature anymore.
They don't care about it anymore. Yeah,
I'm going to move on to PC, and I'm also just going to hit the ones that are different. So they have Islanders and Deathmark on the 4th.
Okay.
On the 5th, you have Walkerman Act 2, and on the 9th, you have... Oh, no, the 9th is the same. The 10th, you have that Woolly Mountain game as well, so I guess that's not what I was thinking it was.
Mm-hmm.
As well as Corpse Party Sweets, Chico's Historic Birthday Bash. The 11th, you have Weedcraft Inc., Tiny Tanks, and Deck of Ashes. The 12th, you have Diesel Brothers Truck Building Simulator. The 15th, you have One Unfingered Death Punch 2. I don't know. I played One Finger Death Punch. I didn't really necessarily think I needed a sequel. Yeah, the Mysteries of Woolly Mountain are not all what I thought it was going to be.
An otherworldly adventure game.
It looks odd.
It looks like it has weird Cthulhu creatures. Crab people.
The 17th, we have Whispers of a Machine. The 18th, we have nothing different. Sigma Theory Global Cold War.
Okay. Speaking of Cold
25th.
War, I fucked that up all that one time I was talking about it. I didn't know it went as far back as it did. So I'm...
Oh, when you're talking the whole Metal Gear thing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I would...
He ended up getting on Metal Gear later that night and was like, I was wrong on the dates. I was like, hey, kind of...
It's 24 years off here, sure.
The 25th, you have Biotape and Predator Rome. The 26th, you have April 30th. The 26th, you have April 30th. So I'm assuming Newsweek fucked up on the article again. And on April 30th, you have U-Boat. So not really anything big for me.
I mean,
I don't care about Mortal Kombat 11, so that's the biggest one coming out next month.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be into the Phoenix Wright lawyer thing if I had played any of it before.
Yeah.
So, that's all I have. We want to move into our discussion really quick. We have a little bit of time for it.
Yeah, sure.
So we were talking about our discussion. This episode should be, did you want to do the weapons?
I guess we can do the weapons.
Okay, we'll do the weapons. We want to discuss all-time favorite weapons in video games. Now, the way I was thinking we could handle this is we could go melee.
Okay.
And we could break down different kinds of melee, and then we can go into pistols, and then we could go into anything bigger than a pistol, and then we can go into anything otherworldly.
Okay.
So let's start with melee.
Melee. Okay. So immediately the first thing that comes to mind is like, Master Sword, Cloud's Fenrir, the Buster Sword.
Okay.
You got Titus's Wave Tide Collar. You've got you got a lot of pretty good swords, but no one really talks about like hammers or otherwise, like Mjolnir or
Mjolnir would be a good one.
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
And then you got axes like Kratos' new, but really big fuck off axe.
But Kratos also had the Olympus sword or whatever it was.
The Chains of Olympus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, those were badass swords. We fighting Zeus with them.
You're right.
I mean, I can't think of a game specifically that used it, but I know it's been a thing. You got tridents. Tridents are always an interesting one, especially if they have something to do with Poseidon.
Yeah, the only one that ever really came to mind was the one in Jade Empire.
Now, I kind of like when it comes to certain games like Doom, I want the chainsaw over doing a melee butt attack. Like I don't want to hit someone with the butt of the gun. Yeah. I want to chainsaw them.
You just want to I mean, yeah.
I feel like that's still somewhat of a melee weapon. It's just
attached to a gun.
Well, no, you're thinking
Gears of War. But I mean,
oh, there you go. He pulled up the dildo thing from Saint Rose. I don't even know what it's called.
It's the penetrator.
There you go.
Yeah.
You've got the frying pans in different games, including Crowbar. Dead Rising and The Walking Dead. Crowbars. Yeah.
And then the shish kebab from Fallout.
Yeah, you get the shish kebab from Fallout. You also have the Ripper from Fallout, which is like a handheld chainsaw.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that one then.
Also in Dead Rising, you had chainsaws, or you had, if you took out the clown in the first one, you could get his mini chainsaws.
Oh.
The ones that he's like juggling.
Oh.
Those are pretty cool. I'm trying to think of hammers now that you mentioned it, and I'm not thinking of it.
I want there to be more hammers. I want big hammer.
I mean, any like
the fuck is that?
Otherworld, Otherworld, but like, I guess in like Skyrim or anything along those lines, you're gonna have some kind of big warhammer.
You got the warhammer, but nothing like the only one that I can think of is Molag Bal, but it's more of a mace.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's also maces, and what's the one on the chain?
The flail.
Flail. There you go.
You don't really get too much.
No, I think if I'm gonna pick a favorite for melee, I think if we're gonna talk mechanical melee, I'm gonna go Chainsaw and Doom. If we're going to go out of mechanical melee, I think I'm going to go with the sword from Legend of Zelda, the Hyrule sword.
Okay. For my
Master Sword.
For my non-mechanical, it's going to be Frostmourne from World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Just because it's a fucking cool sword.
That's kind of cool looking sword. Yeah.
Look at that.
Goat head. Or demon head or
demon
whatever
head,
that is.
Yeah.
No, it's very
it's
cool.
Got runes on the blade. It's got this nice curvature to it. Oh, it looks so nice. And for mechanical, probably would a lightsaber count?
I guess a lightsaber could count, but if a lightsaber's counting, I'm changing my mechanical to lightsaber.
Okay, then we're gonna count it, considering it is in a bunch of games. It is in KOTOR. It's in friggin'
the big problem with the lightsaber is it's never actually used the way a lightsaber would work. It's never the one hit kill a lightsaber should be. Except for maybe in what's it called? Force Unleashed.
Yeah, okay.
But most games, like if you play what is it? The one I've been playing? Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
You have to sit there and fight.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because if you just one hit killed everything, the game would be boring.
Yeah.
But they give you the ability of using a lightsaber, and then you're put in the position of, if I one kill everything, it just won't make sense.
Yeah.
So we'll move over to pistols.
Now this is a big one. There's a lot of good pistols in a lot of games.
I want you to go first, because I think I have the one that wins. Go ahead. He's giving me a look. Just go ahead.
So as far as pistols go, I of course enjoy like M9s. I enjoy P226s. I bet you're going to say silver ballers, aren't you?
I like the silver baller and Hitman, but I'm not saying it does a lot of damage. It's a lot of fun, but I'm not. That's not the one I'm saying.
Like he's still getting the skeptical look out of me. I need to remember. There's a game that was only in the arcade called Too Spicy, and it involved a gentleman named Alexander. And he had this hulking, pretty medium-sized pistol with a scope attached to it. And he had the quickest zoom-in time, that sort of thing. but I enjoyed his gun. It felt good. The whole game felt good. I loved it. It was great. It had ducking and diving mechanics.
Timescape or whatever it was another good
Time Crisis.
Time Crisis, there you go. Time Crisis was another good arcade pistol because it was like an automatic pistol.
Yeah, well, the third one introduced where it you of course had the rip back.
Yeah,
but it also had like shotgun, so where it would pull it back a lot harder than the pistol. It had the machine gun, so it constantly did it, and then it even had the grenade launcher, which pulled back hard. I was like, okay, that's good. You had a game that revolutionized. And then the fourth one I heard about, but I didn't see, but it did the same thing.
We'll have to take a trip down to an arcade sometime.
Yeah.
Sadly, we live in Vegas where we finally have 2 good arcades, but it took us up until a couple of years to get them. And now they're just too expensive.
Yeah.
Like, Vegas is not a good place for arcades.
I mean, my stomping grounds
doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, it does. It's just all tickets.
No.
It doesn't have the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 I used to stomp around with. It doesn't have the Tekken 5. It was Tekken 5. It doesn't have that machine anymore. It doesn't have the Soul Calibur 4 machine that it had. It doesn't have the ITG machine. It went back to DDR, and I'm like, I'm old enough to know that I wouldn't play them now. I mean, I would, but not as heavily as I, of course, would back when. But it's like, damn, you guys really screwed the pooch. Now they just have a bunch of ticket machines and a lot of racing games.
That's because the ticket machines is what people start being more interested in.
It's gambling for kids.
Yeah, but, I mean, we all did it.
And then they have this big machine in the middle that's full of candy that has, like, all these dump scoopers. And
yeah.
It has, like, 6...
I know what you're talking about.
I like them. I mean,
I just worry about how long the candy's been in there. Granted, it's Tootsie Rolls. They never go bad, but still.
Yeah, Tootsie Rolls never go bad, but then you look up and you see the box of Chex Mix that you see up there, and you're like...
Why is that there? Okay, any more pistols to throw into the rain?
There's a lot of good ones. There's a couple good revolvers. The Standard Action Army from Metal Gear Solid 3 that Ocelot uses. Hell, even the M9 that Snake gets is a pretty good one. There's a lot. There is a lot of a lot. Fuck. Even if we're talking like released very quick, like not too long ago, the P2020 from Apex Legends, like it looks like a pretty good pistol.
I even don't mind the 10mm in Fallout.
Yeah,
I'll fuck around with that one. I always keep one in my inventory just in case.
Yeah, backup guns that always work. Like I honestly don't think there's any quote unquote bad pistols.
Okay, so you ready then?
Golden gun?
Golden gun.
Yeah, okay.
Golden gun from GoldenEye on the N64, and the reason being is because, like in the books and movie, the bullets are poisonous, so it's a one-hit kill. It doesn't matter where you hit, it's a kill.
Okay.
And it was always the cheat gun. Like, you would always say golden gun off unless you wanted to be an asshole and you snuck golden gun on into the settings before starting a multiplayer match. Because if you get a hold of it, you win the match. They're going to have to pump a clip into you before you pump one bullet.
Yeah.
That being said, the golden gun, I feel like, was done on purpose. And I'm sure it probably was. It's in Destiny. You've got the golden gun you can get.
Oh, that's right.
And it's
the
special power up.
Yeah.
And if you did what I did, you get the helmet where all 3 bullets are put into one big ass shot.
Yeah.
So he's moving over to sniper rifles.
Well, that's me.
Rifles.
That's me. I don't know what you're.
No, we can move over to rifles. Rifles are fine.
Okay. Now this is another one where there's a lot of really good ones, like the Sator AUG. I love the AUG. The AUG is a very clean rifle. The OP, which is the strongest gun that I have ever messed with in any game, thanks to Counter-Strike. The Dragunov, another good one from the olden times. Like, there's a lot of really good ones. Most of the ones from Siege are good. It's just, I guess it's a matter of finding my favorite, and
So if we're talking just rifles in general, you mentioned the AUG. I'm going to go with the AUG. I like the AUG.
The AUG's clean.
It's pretty much what my go-to gun in Call of Duty when it's an option, I should say. Because it's not always in all of them. But I don't think it really kind of evens out with like actual sniping. If I'm doing sniping, I haven't done too many games where I'm a sniper other than maybe Fallout or actual Sniper Elite and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
Which with the Sniper Elites, you come pretty much preset on what gun you're going to have.
Yeah, it's either going to be probably a GUI or a Mosin Nagant.
Yeah.
Like
so,
you're not going too varied. As for me, my probably favorite assault rifle would probably be an ACR or a SCAR, because they're both pretty much the same build.
Mm-hmm.
They're clunky, but they work to the best of any ability. As for sniper rifle, that's where toughness actually begins to grind into me, because there's a lot of good sniper rifles. I'll probably stick with my original of the AWP, because the Arctic Winter is probably the best we're gonna get.
Okay, I like that Wildlands skin.
This is an op.
Oh, well, I still like the Wildlands skin.
Yeah, I do too. But it's
the classic Jaws teeth with a eyeball.
The warhead.
Yeah, there you go.
But I mean, this gun is a 50 caliber that has quote unquote low recoil because of its the way the very front of it has something to cushion that.
Gotcha.
And so the bullet itself can rip off a limb, that sort of thing.
So I don't know anything about guns. I've been shooting, but I don't know anything about guns. My gun knowledge does come from playing video games, and I still don't know very much at all. So, now shotguns.
Shotguns, yes.
Across any game. So I like the 12 gauge in Hitman, Blood Money. But I also like the combat in Fallout 3. And I like the combat in Fallout 3 better than the combat in any of the other Fallout games. I feel like the combat shotgun was best in 3. But then you've got Mad Max's Sawed-Off, which is an amazing fucking gun.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the Sawed-Off in Doom, which is an amazing gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't really pick a shotgun I like. And the reason I picked the 12 gauge for... you know what? I don't even think it's Blood Money. I think it's Contracts. Yeah, I think it's Hitman Contracts. I picked the shotgun is the 12 gauge in that one. You literally load 12 shots into, and each shot is basically a guaranteed kill. And you just pop around the corner, shoot, pop back. So if you're in the heat of it, which isn't the goal of a Hitman game, but we've all done it. We've all just said, fuck it, we're going to kill the whole map. So if you're in...
Me in Japan. Like, I do not like that mission at all.
Well, if you play Contracts, which is one of the older ones, there's this mission where the cops have showed up at the hotel you're in.
Okay.
And you have to get out.
Oh, okay.
And so there's literally teams of cops clearing room by room. And there's like 3 floors to the building, I think.
Oh, no.
And the elevator's out. So you can climb up and down the elevator shaft. And then there's also cops in the alleyways. There's cops in the streets. They're there for you. And so that one, a lot of times, I'll go and I'll take out the first team with my silver ball, and then just load up on the 12 gauges after that. Put on their costume because they're looking for me in the suit, and then I just go to town and just start clearing them out as they come down the hallway or up the stairs or something.
Jesus.
And that's why I like that one, because it's 12 shots. Each shot is practically a guaranteed kill. Now, what you pulled up, Siege.
It's no secret that I enjoy Siege. I just prefer to play with other people. I like Mute. Mute is one of my favorite defenders because I do very good at locking out.
Is he a mute?
No, he speaks.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he has a few lines.
Have you ever noticed some of the most badass characters don't say a thing, like Snake Eyes?
Yeah. It would have been better if he made like beeps and bops. But no, he actually speaks, which is
just a lot of hand gestures.
Yeah.
Waving and stuff.
Yeah. Or snapping the fingers, because that's what you're supposed to do when you're quiet. You know, you snap fingers and then give a signal.
Tapping on the side of your gun.
Yeah, tap the side of the gun. Cock a hammer, uncock it. You know, that sort of thing.
That'd been cool.
Yeah,
but whatever.
But whatever. But he has an M59OA1, which is probably my shotgun choice. Okay. Because even when I'm defending, I put down my mute traps, which means nothing's getting through. I slide around and then I go and do my thing. I hide out. Then all of a sudden I hear, let's say, a Maverick come around the corner. I say, "Welcome to America," and I, give them the treatment. And it just feels so satisfying, because if you do a full mid body, they're knocked down. No matter what, they're knocked down. If I get lucky, it's just a kill. With with the attackers, you don't get much shotguns as far as, but I'm curious if you're okay with it.
Now, for the M59 OA1, what are we talking about load-wise? Like, how many shots?
Well, I think it only has 6.
Okay.
Yeah, it only has 5 or 6, but...
That's not a bad thing, I'm just curious.
Yeah, no. Where is his? There's his. So, with Buck, his gun is just a regular gun. It's a regular assault rifle, but his underbarrel is called the Master Key, where it's not meant for damage. It's meant for
breaching.
This wall is here. Now it is not.
Gotcha.
It only holds 5 maximum, and it's a magazine draw. I like it. I'm curious, does that count?
I mean, you said it's not meant for damage, though. So
I mean, it of course still does it, because it's still a, I think it's a 10 gauge, but still, like, it's meant for just getting through a wall. Because
I guess you could probably count it.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
Another fun one is also in Hitman Contracts is the double barrel. Now, it's not a sawed-off; it's like a hunter's one.
Oh,
because it's
long ones.
Yeah, because you get it when you go to take out a guy who's got these like fox hunters walking around. It's in Contracts. And when you shoot people with this thing, they will fly across the room. He's trying to pull it up and he's having the hardest time.
I found fucking bongs. What the fuck?
He typed in double barrel and it brought up bongs.
Okay, well, here's the 3D modeling of it.
Right?
No,
that's not the right one.
That's not
Those
right.
are the sawed-offs.
But okay, yeah. I can get the gist of it, I suppose.
Yeah, like they're full on like fox hunters that you're taking out.
Yeah, get the hell out of
with
my
the
way.
hounds and everything.
Okay.
And so when you get one of these things, when he's reloading it, he will do the thing where he lays on it in his arm and he's pumping the. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he will do the thing where he's laying it on his arm and he's popping the shells in and
clocking up.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this thing, and I do believe Contracts was the one where you can still shoot doorknobs and have a door open. That may be blood money, but I can't remember. So this thing, you'll come into a room though, and you'll just. And the person will just fly across the damn room, and there's some smoke from the gun, and you still have one more shot. So you're ready for the next guy that comes through, and then you pop it open, you see the shells fly, and he's slapping 2 more shells in, slapping it shut, ready for whoever else comes through the door. It's a beast of a shotgun. The problem is it's 2 shots.
Now, I want you to go first for Otherworldly, because I have one that
Okay.
I don't think you would get.
Now, Otherworldly, the first thing that's going to pop into my mind is anything that's like an extension of the body, like maybe Prototype where he's got the things coming off.
The gooey hands?
Yeah. Or like, I'm spacing on it now. The problem is a lot of Otherworldly things are swords. Like, a lot of them are hyped up swords.
Yeah.
There's the ray gun and zombies, and the Wunderwaffel and zombies as well.
The waffle.
What do you have for Otherworldly? Because I don't really have much. Maybe. Oh, there you go. Okay, that's a good pull.
The gravity gun
From
Half-Life.
Yeah, Half-Life.
Now, I do enjoy Valve and what they do. It's just I need them to do more because I'm slowly getting tired.
If they need to do more, first of all, and second of all, when they finally do more, please don't let it look like the original, because not that the original is bad, but how many years has it been? Things have improved. If it looks like it was made when the original was made, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Well, they wanted to keep the aesthetic from Half-Life 2 to Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and 2, because, you can play them all in order, and there isn't much change in graphically.
No.
And that's fine. I'm okay with that. But yeah, for Half-Life Episode 3 or Half-Life 3, if they can count to 3, I would like to see an upgrade.
Yeah.
I would like to
that'd be like if we came out with a new Super Mario Bros. And it still looked like it was on the N64. It's like, guys, it's been a while.
Yeah. What the fuck did I do?
What
is it?
He typed in strange guns, and we got some pretty intense stuff.
Like, it's got 10 barrels in a row, and you have to, like, typewrite or move it to the right or left, and then pull the trigger.
Another one would be the sword from Dante's Inferno. That one was kind of cool. Dante's Inferno is a lot like God of War in the sense that you're going through and just killing shit.
I spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
This one, the scythe.
No,
thing?
not that. Well, I mean, yeah, you've got the scythe, which you can see him down here on the right, holding it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I remember
Yeah.
having that on the poster of some sort. And
Yeah, it's on the cover and everything. He basically steals it from Death and kills Death with it.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Like you want a really strange weapon as well.
Because like it's made out of like a human spine, and then whatever the actual sword part of it is.
Like, I'm trying to find a good thing. Okay, so in Devil May Cry 5, you can literally have a motorcycle as a weapon, and I mean, having a motorcycle as a weapon.
I mean, it's cool.
It's great, but I mean, I haven't played Devil May Cry 5. I want to, but you get to do shit with a motorcycle.
A few more obscure weapons really quick, because we gotta wrap this up. Probably the chicken gun in Gears of War.
Yeah, okay.
Wasn't there one where I don't remember which game did it, but there was a game that did it where you're using like a cow ass or something. I don't remember what it was.
There's a chicken ass from South Park.
Okay, no, that's not the one I'm thinking of.
Cow ass?
Maybe it wasn't a cow. Maybe it was a cat. I don't remember. There was one where like you're shooting shit out of an animal's ass.
I know there was...
there you go. That one. That's what it was. It was a unicorn.
What game is this?
I don't remember. I think it's one of the red factions, but I could be wrong.
Probably Armageddon, the one that I didn't play.
I could be wrong on it being a red faction, but I think that might be what it is.
Okay.
And then there was, I mean, this one's not really weird, but there was the whip in Castlevania. It's kind of interesting to go and saying you're going to fight Dracula with a whip, but if it works, it works.
The bubble gun.
The bubble gun from Just Cause.
A ladle in Dark Souls 2. That is a weapon, and there was a guy who did a run all ladle, and he just kept fucking resonating it up and making it work. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Because it would do a lot of stun damage.
I mean, if it works, right?
Yeah. Real Mega Buster.
The Mega Buster and Dead Rising. It's a bitch to get because you have to actually unlock the suit first, or not unlock the suit, but unlock it by doing other stuff first. And I never got around to it, and I did a lot on the first Dead Rising.
There's your chicken gun.
Now with Crackdown 3, you've got the rubber ducky gun.
Oh my god.
Which I feel like they were kind of pulling the whole rubber ducky bomb thing from Hitman, because you got the rubber duckies that are bombs in Hitman.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we thought it would be a cool thing to kind of stop and the cat silencer and Postal 2. If you want to talk about a fucked up game,
I don't. The movie was bad.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about it? It wasn't great. No, nobody liked this.
But we just thought it would be interesting to kind of reflect on some of the weapons we like to use in games. The Wabberjack?
The Wabberjack!
I never used the Wabberjack.
The Wabberjack turns anything into something else at random.
Oh, that sounds like it could be really fucking dangerous.
Watch, turn a dragon into a goat.
This is Skyrim?
Yeah, this is Skyrim. Well, it's in all of the other scrolls.
Oh, so it's in all of Elder Scrolls, not just Skyrim.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Teddy bear. Okay, I'm already done with this list. But thank you for listening to us ramble on and about.
Yeah, we went a little long today. We're sorry, but there was a lot of news, and then we want to talk about weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, what is an action game without weapons? I guess just a fighting game then.
It's just Street Fighter.
Yeah. Well, no, because, you have to fight a car at one point. It could have used its doors. What was that, Street Fighter 2?
Yeah, Street Fighter Turbo.
Whatever. All right, guys, that's all we got for this week. Next week, we'll probably have a lot of news with the rest of PAX and WonderCon. So we'll see. And we're getting closer and closer to Avengers Endgame, so that'll bring a big moment for us.
That will.
No spoilers, please.
None.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Night-night.